What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and your news and reviews right here on our YouTube page, A-Plus Morphinominal. Also streaming live over on our Facebook page as well today. It is I, your host, Adam Perez. Thank you so much for certainly joining us here, ladies and gentlemen, for another brand new episode. We got a ton of topics that we're going to get into today. I'm doing a little bit of a celebration for Power Rangers Dino Fury now that the first part of season 1 has officially wrapped. We're going to be giving our best of moments from that entire series there. And then, of course, we're going to get into a ton of other news for you guys today. We had our Fan First Friday from Hasbro Plus yesterday. We'll go ahead and discuss some of the Lightning collection that was certainly announced. We had a huge Toei story that wound up dropping yesterday in regards to some of the fan subs we'll definitely talk about, plus much more. And, of course, your guys' live viewer questions that we'll definitely tackle at the end of our show. So thank you very much, guys, for definitely joining us and kicking off your weekend the right way, as always, guys. So it's always great to certainly see everybody in here. We do got some people in our live chat today, and you guys know how we do around here. We love to give our shout outs to people that really take the time out to certainly join us every Saturday. So we got JB Says What in the house today with us today. We got Adam Perea. Thank you very much for certainly coming through, Adam. We got I'm Handsome Dude certainly in the house, followed by Power Rangers Legacy. Adam, you know what time it is. It's morphin' time. And then, of course, we got Fire Drake in the house as well. Johnny Marrero certainly gracing us with his presence. We got Frankie in here as well. AJ certainly coming through as always. Blossom certainly showing their support this morning as always. And we got Edward Sanchez Productions in here. Who else? We got Ram Jams in the house. Noah Cummings making their presence felt this week also. And I'm sure we'll have some stragglers as the remainder of this show certainly continues, guys. So definitely go ahead and let me know your thoughts and really let everybody feel welcome in the live chat or even the comment section box below, guys. But yeah, we might have some stragglers that come throughout this entire episode. AJ does kick us off saying, can't believe Dino Fury almost done filming. Hunter, Jordan, and Chance are doing their final table read together. Yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and get into a little bit of all that for you guys today. So I will say this before we even start. It is going to be rather interesting to see what happens, especially with all this tokusatsu stuff that we certainly have going on right now. Because we celebrate Toku Tuesdays out here, it'll be interesting to see if we can still do Zenkaiger and Kamen Rider Saber reviews for you guys. I'll try and certainly do my best to see if there is a place where I can locate some English subs for some of these shows. If not, I really don't know what's going to happen here, guys. But we'll definitely talk all about that as we get along into this episode this week. And then, of course, we got Shadow Nova Productions in the house as well. And if you guys do have your live viewer questions, feel free to certainly submit them over. You can always do so at any particular time during the week if you'd like to. Just go ahead and submit them over to APlus Morphinominal at gmail.com. Again, APlus Morphinominal at gmail.com. For some reason, if we don't happen to get to your comments in the live chat, if you want to make sure that your question does get answered live on air, feel free to go ahead and submit them over to us anytime during the week or as we're going through these articles and these news stories for you guys if you have any additional questions. So again, APlusMorphinominal at gmail.com, guys, and we'll definitely go ahead and get you guys taken care of. So who else we got in here? We got Jaden in the house. What's up, Jaden? Appreciate you certainly coming through. Thank you very much, man. Adam, he says, Adam looking all formal with his long sleeve collar. Listen, today is a big day. Today is the celebration of Power Rangers Dino Fury. It's a little bit of I don't want to say an award show. An award show is something that I'm actually going to be doing at the end of Power Rangers Dino Fury. So the reason why we're doing this best of for you guys is I'm a big movie buff. And I love watching the Oscars each and every year. I love seeing people give awards out. I love seeing people do their acceptance speeches and things like that. And so what I wanted to do for Power Rangers this season, especially for Dino Fury, is at the end of the season, I would like to do sort of like a mini award show around here at APlus Morphinominal, handing out awards for our overall sort of best of for that entire series. And so based off of the fact that we are getting 2 halves, at least for the first season, I don't really know what the release schedule is going to be like for Dino Fury's second season. But if we do get it in 2 parts, I thought it would be really fascinating for each part, right? Each half of the season to go ahead and actually give our best stuff for each of those halves, so that we have 4 nominees for each category when we get to the end of Dino Fury, and then we will make our vote for the entirety of the season, if you will. So this is exactly what we're going to do. I believe we have 8 or 9 categories for best of for Dino Fury season 1 part 1. We'll go ahead and I'll show you guys my best ofs. We'll have best ofs for each half of the season, and then at the end I'll probably will have it as more of a community vote out of the 4 nominees per category that we certainly have, and let you guys vote on sort of the final results, if you will. So I thought it would be really fun around here at APlus Morphinominal, do something a little bit different and have a little bit of an award ceremony, if you will. These are just simply the winners of these are really going to be nominations for the end of the season, and see how some of these moments certainly hold up through the entirety of its season, to be perfectly honest. So I thought it would be something a little bit fun for us to certainly do. Who else we wind up getting in here today? We got Adrian. What's up, Adrian? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much, as always. And of course, we got Sam in here as well. Thank you very much, Sam, for making your presence known today as well. So guys, let's have some fun with the best of Power Rangers Dino Fury. For me, I've really loved what we've gotten so far. Beast Morphers certainly impressed me. The idea of Simon Bennett coming on as showrunner, I think for a lot of us, especially after we watched Beast Morphers, we're really excited and anticipating Dino Fury. And when we actually did get Dino Fury, the fact that it's so far for, I think most people certainly lived up to their expectations that they had for the season, I think certainly says a lot in the direction of just how good this Power Ranger Dino Fury show certainly is. I think it's so good, in fact. I mean, granted, it's only just the first half of the first season. There's plenty more stories to tell. But if Simon Bennett can certainly keep this up, I personally would love to see him maybe come back and do some other Power Ranger work in the future for Hasbro, if at all possible. But they've left us with some great moments, I feel like, almost from every particular episode we could possibly think of this season. And they've done a great job of just forming great storylines, some amazing characters, and just have amazing amounts of fun for this season. So I've been really impressed with what we've gotten so far, to be perfectly honest with you guys. So let's go ahead and start getting into some of our best of moments. Again, I think, let me go ahead and just double check how many categories we have here. So here are some of the categories we're going to go through. We've got best fight, best boost key moment, best Zord battle, best Void Knight moment. Just for you Jane and Borg's fans out there, there's a best Jane and Borg moment. We got our best funny moment of the season, best morph, best scene, and of course, best mucus moment. And then, of course, finally, the best episode of the season as well. So we've got a ton of categories to certainly go through. And I'll even give you guys some honorable mentions for people that almost didn't make the cut. So our first category we're going to get into, guys, is going to be our favorite or best fight scene of the season. Now, right now, while I did pick a winner, there were some close calls in regards to this category. Up there in regards to an honorable mention that almost came in was episode 6, where we had Amelia versus Boom Tower and the Rangers versus the Volcano Guy. I think this was the Superstition Strikes episode. I thought the original fight footage for that was pretty incredible. And even the episode 1, Amelia and Ollie in the command center, were some honorable mentions. But the best fight sequence goes to none other than...
This is a dream come true.
I know, right?
Hold that thought. Skirts aren't really my thing.
Hey, that home was my...
Harvey, catch!
We're rocking it, sis!
I've trained for this. Sort of. You good?
Yep. There.
Huh? What are you doing?
Just hanging.
And that is, in fact, our best fight sequence of the season. Now, guys, granted, these are just simply my opinions. At the end of the day, you're certainly more than welcome to suggest at least what your favorite fight sequence or what your best of sequences for some of these categories certainly might have been. These are just simply my selections from the things that really stood out to me all season long. And remember, at the end of Dino Fury, you guys will, in fact, be able to go ahead and vote on these categories towards the end of the season itself. But that is, in fact, my best fight sequence of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Again, episode 1 had a great battle. Episode 6 also had some great moments as well. But the winner and victory goes to episode 4 in New Recruits. I mean, just getting the opportunity to see Izzy and Javi just kind of do their thing was incredible to me. You know, I think it's Zato that even references the, you know, the sibling synergy that they certainly had. I thought was rather impressive. So kudos to the second unit directors for putting together some marvelous action sequences, not just for episode number 4, but I think that they've been doing a stellar job just sort of all season long. And if this is what we're going to be getting for just the first half of the season, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the remainder of season 1 and season 2 is definitely going to go ahead and bring us. But fight sequence definitely goes to episode number 4 in New Recruits. Second category that we're going to talk about here today, best boost key moment of this season. Now, we've seen the Dino Fury Rangers utilize several different ones. I mean, you guys could recall the stink one from episode number 1. We've seen Gravity Ball quite often, but there is one boost key that was utilized, I believe maybe just one time on the show, that honestly really left me floored in the utilization of it, to the point to where it was probably the most impressive usage, if you ask me. I didn't really have too many other honorable mentions outside of this one because of the fact that it truly just stuck out. There was actually one other one. If I had to actually think about it and give an honorable mention, probably the episode 7 with Javi when he's using his boost shield to go ahead and protect Izzy. That's probably going to be my honorable mention. But for the best boost key moment of the season, that goes to...
You look like you're about to crack open a pinata.
I'm about to crack open something. Sonic Dino Key! Ready! Yes!
Too easy. Yeah!
Uh-oh! I'm out here!
People of Time Rangers, look into my eyes, and you will always
Zato and his fantastic Daredevil mode. I absolutely loved it. Getting the opportunity to see the, what would they call it again? I believe it was called the Sonic. I just wrote it down too. Where'd it go? Best boost key moment on my list here. The Sonic Dino Key, which I absolutely love, giving him the opportunity to go ahead and have to fight blindfold against that sort of Medusa monster, if you will, being really the only person left. This was also another great episode, honestly. This is from episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, where we get the opportunity to see Zato a little bit homesick, you know? He has a great conversation with Amelia in the beginning of the episode, talking a little bit about his mom, the idea of just never giving up sort of thing. And we see Zato really having to step up in this episode for episode 3 to go ahead and sort of save the Rangers from under the spell that they definitely are in. And this is one of his creative ideas that he certainly comes up with by using the Sonic Dino key to kind of get around that particular situation that he was in. So really great action piece, really great utilization of the boost key, if you ask me. And I'm kind of curious to see what other boost keys that they are going to be introducing as the remainder of this season, to see if we get any other particular moments. But for me, that's definitely one of the few that that really jumped out at me, to be completely honest. I will say this, if anything, Hasbro, please go easy on me when it comes to your copyright claim. I'm just simply here trying to celebrate the best of Dino Fury. Granted, we did go ahead and put a disclaimer in our description, so hopefully everything will certainly be all right. But it definitely seems as though some of you guys are appreciating that particular scene. Blossom over here is saying Zato was awesome in that scene. I definitely would agree with you there for sure. We do have a couple of other people that some of their favorite fight sequences, going back to the last one, we're saying I see a lot of episode 1. And yes, trust me, like I said, that was definitely on my honorable mention in regards to almost making the cut. Like it was a tough call between the episode 1, episode 6, and episode 4. But yeah, so I definitely understand your guys' point for sure. But again, definitely go ahead and suggest some of your moments that definitely stood out to you guys. If these moments certainly weren't it, what moments certainly lived up to your expectations for sure. So we've gone through best fight sequence, best boost key moments, and next up I'm going to go ahead and bring up the best Zord battle of this season as well. I mean, we've had a really great, I've loved how this season has utilized its Zords and its battles. The fact that, first off, we didn't get everything just thrown at us all at once. Everything was so nicely sort of trickled out to us, right? Getting our T-Rex champion Zord, then we wind up getting all 3 of our Zords, and then we wind up getting what the Tiger Claw eventually came to us. The Stego Spike wind up eventually coming to us, and then I think we finally got a formation at the end with a great sort of Zord roll call as well. So I feel like storytelling wise, Simon Bennett and the writers have done a remarkable job in regards to how they've introduced these Zords to us. And I got to say, some of the best Zord fight sequences that we have. Overall, I had about 5 different nominations that actually popped up in here. All of them really difficult to choose from. But for me, my best Zord fight is going to go to episode number 7.
Dino Fury Megazord Spike Formation! Let's see what our pointy boy can do.
So, you really want a round 3, huh? Fine, let's rumble!
Yes!
No, it's my job to destroy the Rangers, and business is booming!
Quick, before he can fire!
Stego Spikes!
Mega Fury Saber!
Dino Fury Megazord! Stego Mega Punches!
You think that's enough to stop me? Wait, it is!
Dino Fury Victory!
I got to tell you guys, this was probably one of my hardest to have to pick out. There were so many. The debut of the T-Rex champion from episode 1 or episode 2, I should say, was incredible, right? Getting the opportunity to see it in sort of its base form, all the maneuverability it can certainly do, all the amazing attacks that they wind up having. Episode 4's even jumped out at me, where we had the fully formed Zord with the 3, with at least, well, not fully formed, but with the 3 Zords all together. There were quite a few. Even the Dino Fury Claw formation made an honorable mention on here as well. But first, I love the spike formation that they wind up having. I think for me, that's probably the best out of the configuration that we certainly have. It just looks so badass to me. And I am just a great sucker for sunset battles. I feel like we don't get enough sunset battles or even nighttime battles. So the fact that we already had a sunset battle in the first half of this first season really floored me, honestly. And getting the opportunity to see how Chance, or I should say how Javi really connected with his Zord in here just through music and stuff, really left a really great impression on me. So this is going to be episode 7, Spike Formation Megazord Sunset Battle with Boom Tower. Another fantastic battle sequence. And trust me when I say, there are definitely plenty to certainly pick from for sure. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy that for sure. AJ does ask, was this Megazord fight with Boom Tower new original footage? That one was not. No, I believe that is in fact from Real Soldier as well. All right, guys, moving on to our next category. We're going to go into best Void Knight moment. I feel like Void Knight really captured the imagination of a ton of people, honestly, when he first kind of came onto the scene. He definitely has warranted himself as a pretty formidable foe so far from what we've seen. Him kind of having his little posse now, if you will, with Mucus, and he had Boom Tower and whatever other monsters he certainly worked with. His introduction to us for Area 62. Void Knight has had a really impressive showing for the first half, but there is one moment when it comes to Void Knight that sticks out to me, and I think will continue to stick out to many as the season progresses. So for me, when it comes to best Void Knight moment, I feel like this is easy. This is going to episode number 8.
If I recall correctly, there were 3 of you. Explain.
Bad news, Boom Tower kinda went boom. Good news, I got you Wolfgang's powered up sporks.
Well, at least that's something.
You're welcome. Hey,
See, Mucus? This is all we have to show for Boom Tower's stupidity.
hey, at least it's pretty.
No, it's power, you mushroom. But it's not enough. This is all taking too long. We need to move faster. Be smarter. Out of my way.
Hey, wait up! Oh, fair enough. He definitely needs some alone time.
Please forgive me. There's been another setback. I know you're impatient. We both are. But I promise it won't be long. Whatever the cost, we'll be together again soon, my love.
For me, this easily takes the cake in regards to best Void Knight moment. I think maybe, if anything, episode 1 probably came into a pretty close second, honestly. Even the introduction to Area 62 was up there for me as well. But based off of the fact alone that this is really the moment where we come to realize that Void Knight is not just your simple villain, that there is a sense of humanity, right? There is something that this guy is certainly fighting for. Clearly the love of his life, right? Definitely allows us as a viewer, I think, to feel a little bit of sympathy towards him, maybe a little bit more empathetic in certain senses. But I really love just this particular scene, just opening the doors for a ton of potential in what Void Knight could be, who he could be, what his true motives certainly are at the end of the day. But this really was a huge eye opener and really at least answered one of the questions for us in regards to what the hell is behind that door. And they finally wind up giving it to us. He refers to this person as his love, so maybe it is in fact his lost wife, somebody that he's certainly trying to bring back. Will this woman turn into a future villain for Dino Fury? Who certainly knows. But for me, this was probably one of my favorite Void Knight moments, getting the opportunity to see why he's truly out there trying to grab as many sporks for their abilities as he possibly can. So listen, if you guys had another Void Knight moment that really stood out to you, I would definitely want to go ahead and know your guys' thoughts in regards to that as well. So we've gone through best fight, best boost key moment, best Zord battle, and best Void Knight moment. And out of those 4 so far, there have all been 4 separate episodes: episode 4, episode 3, episode 7, episode 8. So we definitely are making our rounds around here just to really, and for me, when I was doing these, it kind of pointed out to me just how the fact that I was able to find so many best of moments through so many different episodes really made me feel like they almost knocked it out of the park in regards to just really solid quality storytelling throughout this first half, honestly. So I was actually really impressed that I found so many categories to actually even break down for you guys. But we're going to switch it up a little bit here, guys. We're going to get a little bit goofy in regards to just hitting you guys with some great sort of comedic moments of this season. We got 3 categories in here: best Jane and Jay Borg, best funny moment, and of course best mucus scene. So let's go ahead and get the Jane and Jay Borg out of here, this moment out of done with, if you will, so we don't lose more viewers, if you will. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I have enjoyed how they've utilized Jane and Jay Borg. It may not necessarily be for everybody, which I definitely understand, right? Sometimes that type of humor may not necessarily be for everybody. So I definitely understand that sense. But there are some Jane and Jay Borg moments to me that were either funny, incredibly lighthearted, just absolutely adorable sort of thing that really put a smile on my face, and some of these particular moments. So I will say this: out of the Jane and Jay Borg moment, some of the honorable mentions that almost made the cut. Episode 3 with Madame Indigo, where we see Jane and Jay Borg getting their fortunes told, or Jane's powers now activated so she can go ahead and try and find Sporex and things like that. So episode 3 was definitely an honorable mention. I'll even give an honorable mention to episode 7 when they're out there dancing and singing with Javi on his guitar. But for me, the Jane and Jay Borg moment that really stood out and continues to just make me smile and laugh each and every time, that's going to go to episode number 5.
Hey, kids! Hey! At Buzz Blast, we care about your safety. So, today, we're gonna teach you what to do if you see a sneaky Sporix or a monstrous Sporix beast! Just remember this special song. If you see a scary Sporix or hear a monster roar, Rix, stay calm and call the hotline and everything will be fine. Call 555-0172. The Rangers will come and help you. So, when you see a Sporix, just stay calm. There's no need to scream. A Sporix in my pants!
The song said to stay calm and call 555-0172. Hello? Meet the Power Rangers.
Jay Borg, help! Thanks, Jay Borg.
Here.
See, kids? I stayed perfectly calm. It's easy.
Hello, children! Need some friends?
Kids, whatever you do, don't make any sudden movements.
Don't you wanna...
Now listen, I already see some people in the comment section, boo this man for picking Jane and Jay Borg moments. But listen, for me, when it comes to this particular scene, based off of the fact that this Power Ranger hotline has literally been a thing all season long, I love the fact that we have these two characters given a great PSA moment for these kids, and certainly trying to help them learn just what to do in case of emergency. And the fact that we have just a little cute girl over here just kind of calling the hotline, following the directions, right, really shows that the message is getting through to people. So I really love that. I thought it was just super original in regards to just coming up with a really cute sort of theme song, if you will, for the hotline as well, getting getting the opportunity to see Jane not even following her own guidelines of what to do, just literally screaming the entire time. And one of my favorite moments comes literally right at the end when you've got Jayborg who just picks up some random child and is running off screen with them. And it's not even like holding them or cradling them, but she literally has her like completely sideways and you just see her face like off a screen. I absolutely laugh every time that I watch it. It definitely puts me in a great mood. Big old smile on my face. So honestly, I got to be honest with you guys. For me, Jane and Jayborg, this is probably my favorite moment of the of the entire season for them. They had a couple of other good ones in there as well, but I wanted to go ahead and give Jane and Jayborg a shout out and a category of their own, just based off of how they're certainly utilized in this season. So for me, episode number 5 goes to the best Jane and Jayborg moment. But yeah, I know not everybody is pleased with that one, but that's certainly more than fine. Let's go ahead and get into best funny moment of this season. Now, there's actually a ton to certainly choose from, if I can be honest with you guys. There's just a lot. Episode 3 comes to mind with Ali, may I have $15 from Amelia? That was definitely an honorable mention for me here. Also, one of the things that I've loved about Dino Fury so far is that they've actually had some pretty good dialogue, I feel like, at times. There are times when it's maybe either overperformed, overacted, or whatever the case may be. But there are some times when there are just some really brilliant lines in here that just make me laugh. Just the type of dialogue that they certainly have. And so while there certainly was a lot to definitely choose from, I would be interested to know what some of your guys' best funny moment of the season definitely was. But I got to give Zato some love here. When we get to, I believe, what episode is this? Just to make sure I'm remembering it. Yes. Got to give Zato some love for episode number 4. Let's dive into it.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool, coolio.
I don't know where you learned that, but your interview's this way.
Do not tell her I taught you that.
As a final test, I'm giving you each an assignment. Whoever does better gets the job. Cool?
Ah, yes. Cool, coolio. My friend Ollie taught me that. Amelia, you didn't hear that.
First and foremost, every time I watch this, first off, coolio, super cringy, but it makes me laugh each and every time. There is something really genuine and great about seeing Zato trying to fit in. Amelia suggesting that he gets a job over at Buzz Blast, and this is exactly what we wind up getting in here. What makes me laugh even harder is the fact that we get Zato throwing Ollie under the bus in here, right? Not only spitting the coolio one more time, but then also following his directions of just don't tell anybody it was me. And then, oh yeah, Amelia, you didn't hear that. I think a lot of it has to do with just the timing and just the delivery of the line. It just makes me laugh each and every time. And those aren't the only 2 moments that he spits out the coolio. He actually does it also interviewing Izzy over at the track meet later on that day as well. So I absolutely loved it. Made me laugh, especially just getting the opportunity to try and see Zato certainly trying to do his best to definitely fit in. But again, there's just so many funny moments in this season. If you guys have a particular funny moment that really stood out to you, please go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below at the end of the day. Yeah, but I love some of you guys are saying AJ over here, Zato calling Ollie out, which I absolutely love. Like Ollie's the last, he's probably the last smooth person that you want to get advice for on how to be smooth, and JB says I cringed at that one. Yeah, I definitely cringed too, but the cringe alone certainly made me laugh just based off of it, honestly. So Zato definitely goes ahead and gets that for best funny moment from episode number 4. All right, guys, we got one more sort of comedic aspect of this season that we're going to go ahead and tackle for you guys, and that is in fact best mucus scene. Now, somebody earlier in the live chat asked me Oh, this is from Adam Perea. He says crayon from Real Soldier or mucus. This was a tough one for me to have to figure out. Like they're so even, like so on par with each other at this particular point in time. I absolutely love Crayon and certainly what he brought to Real Soldier. He's one of my favorite outside of Bomba from that particular show. But mucus continues to just impress me and just makes me laugh each and every time. So right now, Adam, I'm going to hold off on that until the end of the season to answer that question. I don't even know where I'm leaning right now. It's really difficult for me because the voice actress that they've gotten for Mucus has done so incredibly well. You wouldn't even know that they were doing an adaptation. It feels like they just ripped Crayon out of Real Soldier and put them right into Dino Fury, honestly. So let's go ahead and get into my best mucus scene. There are a ton of lines in here. Let me see. When it comes to best mucus line, let's see. I'm trying to find an honorable mention to go ahead and throw out to you guys. A ton of honorable mentions. All right. Episode number 2, you have a boss. I love taking orders. Sign me up, horsey. Episode 2 was definitely an honorable mention. From episode 4, it's Morphin Slime almost made the cut as well. Episode 8 that was Dune Snake, more like Doomed Snake. I thought that was pretty funny also. And then another one from episode 8 too. What a waste of talent. He was gonna sing a song at my birthday party. That was another one. But for me, when it comes to my best mucus scene, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one to episode number 6.
Hey, fungus face! You're not allowed on Master Void Knight's seat.
I'm not scared, and this thing's way comfier than the table I sleep under. Look at me! I'm Void Knight! I love Sporix! I mean, I'm good.
Did someone say they weren't scared?
You just hush. I've never seen that door open before. Maybe there's something tasty inside, like cotton candy?
First off, his impression of Void Knight is as spotless as it comes. I mean, just on point as you could certainly ask for. Oh, I'm Void Knight. I love Sporix. I love his impression, or her impression of Void Knight, I should certainly say. And honestly, like even the reference of, the idea of his throne being a lot comfier than the table that she sleeps under. It's like a dog reference. Like my dog loves sleeping under tables for some reason. I don't know if it's like a security blanket sort of thing or whatever the case may be. But I absolutely love mucus in here. Just not necessarily trying to take over, but getting comfortable, sitting in the throne, mocking his boss, if you will, then being frightened when he actually kind of comes back into the room type of thing. So I absolutely love mucus. There's so many great mucus scenes, but for me, this was probably my best one. But if you guys have another mucus scene that really stands out to you, I would honestly love to know it in the live chat or the comment section box below. Again, this is another tough category for me. Outside of the Zord battle, the mucus scene, and then even probably my best scene of this season were probably the 3 hardest categories for me to have to pick out from, because there was just so many great ones. But again, for me, when it comes to best mucus scene, that's going to go to episode number 6. I'm Void Knight. I love Sporix. I absolutely love me some mucus, man. Absolutely love it. All right, guys. Who else we wind up getting in here? Some quick shout outs to some people that joined us last minute. Zachary in the house. What's up, Zachary? Appreciate you certainly coming through. We got Datilla in the house as well. Thank you very much, Datilla, for certainly joining us today. And of course, Usai is in the house, man. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you guys jumping on board here as we go through some of our best of moments for this season. And with that, guys, we actually have 3 more categories. Now we're going to get into the meat of this best of moment for Dino Fury Season 1. Next up, best morphine sequence, guys. This was a tough one, but I will say this. Out of all of these morphine sequences, first off, I love them all. But this morphine sequence for Dino Fury is probably just in general I just mean in general, the morphing sequence for Dino Fury is one of my favorites. Like if I were to do a video of my favorite morphing sequences, Dino Fury would probably be number one for me, honestly. I've been really impressed. Not just the poses, but also the Burt selling composure, the music that certainly goes over on top of it as well. I think it's just clean. I think it's just a clean morphing sequence. But there are several to certainly pick from in here. So when it comes to my favorite morph, I will say a quick honorable mention does go to episode number 2, where we see the first 3 practicing their morphing sequence, and then they eventually hit their morphing sequence, and he's like, smooth. That's an honorable mention. That almost made the cut for me, but that's not my favorite morphing sequence of this season. My favorite morphing sequence is going to go to episode number 5.
Someone smells like rotten fish.
What?
I'll bet his fighting stinks too.
It's morphin' time!
Dino Fury Key! Activate! Wings of Market Ray!
For me, there are a couple of things that really go into this decision for me when it comes to best morphing sequence. This is our first full morphing sequence, I believe, with everybody in tow for the very first time with all 5 of our Rangers. This is also the very first sort of full roll call that we wind up getting, where everybody sort of introduces themselves all at once at the, or I should say one by one at the very end. So for that alone, definitely certainly wins it for me. But what even puts it over the top for me really is a lot of just the direction and the scene selection in here. The idea of seeing Zato throw up his Dino key, and as he flips it, then you get the boom, 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 boom. Like everybody winds up showing up into the scene. The great sort of pull out of the shot as they're spinning their morphing sequences, and then going straight into the morphing sequence itself. I just thought it was just a really sort of dynamic sort of shot of morphing sequence for them. Really kinetic in regards to a ton of movement that they added to it even before they wind up getting the full sequence. But the fact that we finally have our first roll call, the entire team together, this hands down was definitely for me my best morphing sequence of the season. For me, I didn't even really consider flash morphs or anything like that. I really was just kind of looking for full-on morphing sequences, if you will. And so out of the ones that certainly stood out, I think if I had to do another honorable mention, it probably would even be just the Garcia siblings morph in, was it episode 7 with Javi, if I'm not mistaken, seeing Izzy and Javi morph together. That's probably another honorable mention for me. But when it comes to best morphing sequence, I definitely will go ahead and give that to episode number 5, as we finally have the whole team together, great angles, and just a great roll call all together. So that's going to be my top morphing sequence also. And if you guys have any other suggestions, please go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. Last 2 categories, ladies and gentlemen. Best scene of the season. Best scene of the season. Let me see if I can just throw out some honorable mentions in the meantime. Episode 2, the morphing training sequence, I thought that was pretty cool. That's an honorable mention, just because of the fact that we don't really ever see morphing training sequences, right? Everybody just kind of goes into it knowing what they're doing. Zato's flashback sequences, honestly, from episode 1. Hell, I even say that flashback episode moment from episode 3, where he gets to talk to his mom. That's another favorite scene of mine. Zato, you know what? I won't mention that one because we might still be bringing that one up. But the honorable mention that was the closest to being selected in here for me was probably Solon talking with Amelia about the idea of bad luck. That would be in the Superstition Strikes episode number 6. That was probably the honorable mention right under my selection. It was between that and the one that I wind up picking because I love just the message that Solon was giving through it for Amelia, especially based off of the hard time that she was certainly going through. So that is my honorable mention just before this. But for me, when it comes to my best scene of the season, that's going to go to episode number 8.
That is out of this world.
Is it looking for something?
It's alive, right? Maybe I can read its mind.
Yeah.
I see beings deep in the past. The Morphin Masters. Using the grid, they created mystical artifacts to power teams of rangers. They made the prism.
Dude, spill! What else is there?
Let's see. The Masters sent the prism out into the universe to fight evil. Millions of years later, it found its way to Earth, where it gave the Ninja Steel Rangers their powers. As soon as their mission was done, it vanished. All along, the Morphin Masters have been observing Ranger teams, including us. I had no idea. The prism was sent on a new mission to Earth. It's still searching.
What's it looking for?
Don't know, but it hasn't found it.
I got to tell you, for me, this is at least my best scene for sure. I will say this. If anything, somebody does ask Fire Drake, he says, really, the Prism Star? If anything, I will say it's not the Prism Star that fascinates me. It's what it represents and what it stands for and how much it actually has helped this particular series kind of grow, if you will. Getting the opportunity to see Zato using his abilities to connect with the Nexus Prism to understand more about the Morphine Masters, I think goes a long way, not just for Dino Fury, but just for Power Rangers as a franchise as a whole, to really get us a better understanding canonically, like canon-wise, of pretty much just how impactful the Morphine Masters have certainly been for not only just Dino Fury, but also Ninja Steel, getting the opportunity to see other flashback moments in here from Ninja Steel, along with Beast Morphers, the idea that the Morphine Masters are watching, right? Getting the opportunity to see past moments from Dino Fury as well in here. So for me, I really loved what that particular scene just did for the franchise as a whole, and further connecting Dino Fury to the franchise as a whole as well. I also really appreciated just the way that this scene was shot, the idea of giving us sort of the point of view and the perspective from the Nexus Prism, right? Like us being the Nexus Prism and looking out at Zato, even kind of scanning the other ranges and things like that to fully give us a comprehension that it is sort of like a living entity, that it does have a little bit of a mind of its own. So I love the fact that it also is kind of hinting at maybe its mission, like some of you guys are saying in the live chat, that maybe its mission is locating the Gold Ranger, which is something that we talked about when we did our review for episode number 8 as well. So trust me when I say this was definitely a hard one to certainly pick from. So it's not just about the Nexus Prism. It's about everything that the Nexus Prism stands for and what it truly represents, especially to the Dino Fury Rangers, and maybe the impact that it might have as the season certainly progresses. So for me, it's definitely going to go to episode number 8 in there in regards to Zato and the Nexus Prism. Burt Selling with some beautiful composition work, great music attached to it, getting to see the reaction of all of our Rangers at just being like just awe-inspired by what they're seeing by this Nexus Prism. For me was enough to certainly take the cake. But I absolutely loved it. But listen, if there's any particular favorite scenes that you guys certainly enjoyed this season, definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not least, best episode of the season. Now, this may differ for other people. I think I might have actually ranked my favorite episodes from best to least favorite, maybe with either last week or the week before, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe somebody asked me that question either in the live viewer question section of our show a couple of weeks ago. But for me, there were a couple of really great episodes this season. I don't know if I had... let me see. Did I have an honorable mention list for this one? I don't believe that I did, just because of the fact that I've kind of gone through my list before. But there were really some great episodes this season. But for me, when it comes to best episode of the season, I'm going to give that to episode number 4.
That was a good throw.
What?
I said that was a good throw. I know, because I used to throw those all the time when I was a knight.
Careful. You're a knight. Well, I'll give you a call if I see any dragons.
There are dragons here?
He's just kidding.
Yes, right. Just a joke. I'm actually a reporter. I'm Zato. I'm doing a story for BuzzBlast, and I want to tell the city all about your amazing skills.
I see. Sorry, I don't do interviews. I gotta improve my throw before the next meet.
I'll make a deal with you. I show you a trick to improve your throw, and you give me a story.
You show me a trick you learned in night training. You're on, pal.
Cool.
Maybe not.
I mean, you get more distance if you release the spear with a slight upward angle, like this.
The spear? All right, Mr. Knight. All right, Mr. Knight. Okay, you got yourself an interview.
For me, episode 4 was just an absolutely great episode. Not only getting the opportunity to see the introduction of Tessa Rao and Chance Perez as Izzy and Javi, but this is an episode that certainly made Power Ranger history in regards to giving us our first female Green Ranger. But outside of that, also, I mean, this episode, not only does it have great action sequences, which episode 4 also won for best fight sequence, but Burt Selling with the great music accompanied to it, getting the opportunity to see somebody like Izzy and Zato actually get the opportunity to interact, to see their personalities and things like that, see how their chemistry works with one another. I mean, this episode also won for funny moment with Coolio in it as well, getting the opportunity to see Zato trying to get more comfortable and living on this planet now, trying to fit in a little bit more, getting to see some of his reporting skills as well, if you will. And yeah, just some amazing action sequences throughout this episode as well. So I honestly felt that this had a little bit of everything that you can certainly ask for. There was a lot of buzz even going into this episode, and I honestly feel like out of all the episodes this season, this probably warranted like the most talk. Like, I feel like my Twitter feed was just blown up all episode, like all weekend long, honestly, if not all week long, of people talking about how great this episode certainly was, giving Tessa Rao her roses and stuff, just showing praise to the Izzy character. I just thought it was really great introduction to both of these characters in Izzy and Javi, and you just really see how easily these characters in this cast certainly does get along. So for me, best episode of this half of the season definitely goes to episode number 4 in New Recruits. But guys, I want to know your thoughts. What was your favorite episode? You know, going through some of these episodes again, the Javi episode really jumps out at me once again as a really great episode. Getting to see his confrontation with his father and Warden Garcia and things like that. Heck, episode 1 still lives in my memory with a great introduction to some characters and great fight sequence. So there definitely were a ton of honorable mentions to go along in here. But for me, I do give my best episode to episode number 4. But guys, at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. So what did you guys think? Again, we went through best fight sequence, best boost key moment, best Zord battle, best Void Knight moment, best Jane and Jay Borg moment, best funny moment, best mucus moment, best morphine sequence, best scene, and best episode. Now, the winners of all these categories will be placed to the side, and we're definitely going to be having another best of for Dino Fury for the second half of season 1. And then as we take all those winners will in fact be our nominees going into the end of the season, which you guys will certainly go ahead and vote for the winner. So I'm really eager to go ahead and do this. Maybe I need to go get me a tux, a nice tie, get something ready for the end of season 2 of Dino Fury. Maybe get some champagne, if you will, some bubbly to go ahead and commemorate Dino Fury as we do a little bit of an award ceremony at the end of Dino Fury. But guys, I want to know your thoughts. Again, I'm sure everybody has their own particular suggestions, but if you have any great moments that I might have missed that you want to recommend, please go ahead and do so in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. All right. Let's see here. Who else we got in the house? We got Izzy the Gentleman, the episode where Zato gets a last name. Who else do we have? I'm trying to see if anybody else winds up joining us. So Rob is in the house. Thank you very much, Rob, for certainly joining us today as well. JB says for him, episode 1 and episode 8 are his favorites. Yep, I can definitely acknowledge that for sure. JB says they definitely are some really great moments throughout there for sure. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, we will move on to our next topic for you guys. Man, I love doing that. I'm so glad that I spent the time this week to go ahead and focus on Dino Fury. I went ahead and rewatched the entire series to go ahead and get ready for these episodes, and it was just as great going through it a second time around, honestly, than it was. Like, there are a lot of great moments that jumped out at me that I almost forgot about that I wanted to highlight. Like, for instance, the fight sequence from episode The Superstition Strikes, I believe episode number 6, where we see Amelia and Ollie facing off against Boom Tower together. I think it's Boom Tower that infiltrates the command center that Solon and Amelia are in, and then they wind up leaving or pulling Boom Tower out of the command center and having to fight 2 villains all at the same time. I think the second unit directors have been doing amazing jobs in regards to just some incredible action sequences that they've certainly have pulled off. So going through the season again for a second time, just straight through was really great, honestly, and really continued to show me why this is so good. All right. JB says I was wondering how you remembered so much because I only remember the first and last episode. I mean, I feel like I remember quite a good bit of things, but honestly, rewatching it certainly was a great refresher for me personally. All right, guys, with that out of the way, we will move on to our next topic today, and that is in fact going to be the Hasbro Pulse Fan First Friday that we wind up getting as of yesterday. Now, guys, talk about just completely blowing my damn predictions and speculation as to what I certainly wanted to see. If there is a lesson that I learned from watching it this week, it's a lesson I probably should have taken just maybe like 2 or 3 other Hasbro Pulses ago. When they do these smaller ones really are not going to give us a ton of information. It really does feel as though when they start talking about all of their brands, like all of their IP, like Transformers, G.I. Joes, Dungeons and Dragons, like that's when I feel like that's when we really get the meat of the Power Ranger news, if you will, because while I was certainly hoping for a ton of information to be released here, when Brian Goldner says we have announcements that are coming very soon, my definition of very soon is like what? Like next week? 2 weeks? I was kind of hoping that they would drop some of these reveals this week, but unfortunately they certainly didn't. But what we did get from Hasbro Pulse Fan First Friday for you Lightning Collection fans out there is we got I don't want to say, is this technically a wave? Is this a wave like 9 or 10, or is this just an assortment of new figures that they're certainly going to be showcasing to us? So while I'm not quite sure, I will go ahead and go through some of the Lightning collections that they did go ahead and highlight for us. Some of the biggest ones that they showcased: SPD, A Squad finally getting some shine, and the remainder of the team. I don't believe we had the full team, but we definitely had some of the team. So here's A Squad Red Ranger that they highlighted. They even gave us some amazing gallery photos as well to kind of see them just in better. I've always loved these background images that they wind up showcasing to us. We also have A Squad Yellow Ranger that wind up getting highlighted as well. Another great gallery photo of it, also just looking pristine as certainly can be. And then we also got the A Squad Green Ranger that they went ahead and announced. And then again, another great shot. If anything, if there was anything I was a little bit bummed about, is that we didn't have Loretta Masters on this episode to go ahead and highlight just all of the amazing work that she's certainly doing with the sculpting of these characters. A Squad Pink Ranger was also highlighted in another fantastic gallery. This is probably one of my favorite photos of getting an opportunity to see these action figures in action. Another one that really jumped out at me that I don't think a lot of people were certainly expecting to see, but I certainly was not at all, but I loved it, was in fact seeing Andros. Now this is like his stealth mode, if you will. Like I remember this Andros costume, I believe, from the very first episode, if I'm not mistaken. He's got his long robe on. I believe this action figure from Andros even comes with, I believe it might actually come with a helmet or like an interchangeable head to go along with the I believe it comes with the interchangeable head to go along with the stealth costume that he has underneath the robe, if I'm not mistaken. So we did get ourselves another Andros action figure. I did see some people in the live chat when they were announcing these Lightning collection pieces. Somebody was like, another Andros? What is that, like number 3 or something like that? I don't know, unfortunately, because I don't collect the Lightning collection pieces. I like looking at them, but I definitely have never been a big action figure collector before. But these Lightning collections certainly are appealing, to say the least. Like they've actually have almost had me pull the trigger on actually purchasing some of these figures. And those weren't the only ones that were actually revealed during the Hasbro Pulse Fan First Friday. We also got Versus packages revealed as well. Now, these are usually some of my favorites, getting the opportunity to see just who they're going to pit our good guys against our bad guys. One of them that stood out to me most definitely certainly was getting an opportunity to see the In-Space Blue Ranger in TJ with the In-Space Psycho Ranger Silver, who we I believe it was Zane who was actually doing in that particular costume. So really intriguing one. I mean, granted, the Psycho Silver is not really evil, but I did find it interesting that they put together this Versus package for the In Space. So if you are looking to add to your Psycho collection, now you've got Psycho Silver to certainly go along with it, and what looks to be a one badass TJ action figure, if you ask me. And they also showcase them together battling, so you get the opportunity to see just some of their effects for their weapons utilized just in a better lighting and better background. So really great stuff there in regards to that particular Versus package. Another one that jumped out at me that I absolutely loved, Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger facing off against Scorpina. And now this one is actually Aisha underneath the helmet. They also have an interchangeable headpiece for Aisha where she has her hair in a ponytail, and I think she's rocking like a yellow scrunchie, if I'm not mistaken, to keep her hair up. But this is another one with the effects from Scorpina's sword in here as well. So another Yellow Ranger to certainly add to your collection, and a great looking Scorpina, if you ask me. I don't know if we've had a Scorpina action figure by herself. But if not, this is probably your chance to actually go ahead and get one. So those are, in fact, the Lightning Collection pieces that they wind up showcasing. Let's see here. It did say, for those of you who are wondering, just based off of the news here from tokunation.com, it does say the A Squad red, yellow, green, and pink Rangers are now set for release, completing the most advanced team in the Space Patrol Delta. A Squad Pink is a GameStop exclusive. So for those of you who want to get A Squad Pink, she is, in fact, going to be a GameStop exclusive, while you have the A Squad Green, who's going to be an exclusive over at Best Buy if you're interested, okay? And then, of course, they wind up letting us know that, yes, we got the 2 Versus packs. I'm trying to see if it lets us know if there's any other place that you can get them from. It's not telling me in this particular article itself. Maybe I have to do a little bit more research, but I would assume, if anything, maybe some of these might be on pre-order, or at least might be available pretty soon to get them. So definitely go ahead and check them out whenever you get the chance to, guys. But Lightning Collection definitely is unleashing more SPD along with some more in space and Versus packages. So definitely go ahead and check those out whenever you get the chance. All right, guys. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Blossom clearly loves the Lightning Collection toys. I'm really glad that you do. Izzy, the gentleman, says it's dope that they made a figure for Stealth Andros and Psycho Silver Zane. Aisha versus Scorpina is also a good look. Yeah, I really do love that Versus package. I really do. Even Blossom says, sweet, we got Aisha. Yeah, I believe she might have one already. I believe she might actually have her own figure, but I could be wrong in regards to that. But yeah, they have some, definitely have some toys that definitely stood out. While again, I was really hoping for more news. The toys that they did at least give us do look pretty good. So I am eager to see how everybody enjoys them when they actually get them into their hands. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and stick into some more Power Ranger news for you guys as we continue along with our topics for the day. And this time we're going to go ahead and highlight maybe some new information from good old Simon Bennett himself. What's up, Simon? Good to see you, man. Celebrating your fantastic job on Dino Fury Season 1 here on this episode. Wish you were here, man. Give me that high five. No? Okay, next time. All right, guys. Today I wanted to go ahead and highlight something from Simon Bennett. We've highlighted a couple of things that he's either mentioned on Twitter, some photos that he's delivered on his IG page from behind the scenes, whether that be Beast Morphers to Dino Fury. Simon Bennett, I feel like, has been as transparent as he certainly can with the fans over the past several months, and the fans have just been eating it up. I really have enjoyed just the access that Simon Bennett has allowed the fans to truly see how this season is coming together and officially wrapping up, guys, as Dino Fury Season 2 is set to go ahead and wrap up shortly. And how do we go ahead and know that? Well, that's pretty simple. Simon Bennett himself has let us know that the last table read has in fact occurred. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. This is from Pukina, Simon Bennett's IG accounts. Oops, you know what? Let's see if it'll let me pull this up again. Is it not going to let me now? There we go. This is from Simon Bennett's IG account. He says, last table read, excited to be directing again. So it seems as though Simon Bennett's going to be tackling the last couple of episodes, or at least the last episode for season 2 of Dino Fury, that I'm really looking forward to seeing what he tackles. I want to see if he's going to direct any other episodes outside of that, but this is in fact everybody getting together for the final table read before they go ahead and actually start filming that particular episode. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next week or two, if we start seeing Dino Fury cast members talking about wrapping up. Maybe they have themselves a wrap party certainly coming on soon. So yeah, Simon Bennett has let us know here that season 2 is almost getting ready to wrap as we get to see them doing their last table read. You know, I will say this, one of the people that jump out at me at this table that I'm seeing here is none other than is none other than Campbell Cooley himself. One of the people that stand out to me more than anything is probably Campbell Cooley himself. We have not seen Campbell Cooley in this show as of yet. I've been trying to look to see, like, is he doing the voice of a monster, right? Is he under heavy makeup? I mean, this guy's a voice actor, right? So if anything, I would expect him to be a voice of perhaps maybe one of the monsters or one of the characters this season. But he has been nowhere to be found. But Campbell Cooley is directly right in the middle of this particular photo itself. Now, while I know he has certainly probably helped when it comes to some of the voice acting work this season, especially probably the ADR sessions and things like that, I will say, if I had to speculate on who Campbell Cooley will play, I'm gonna throw all my coins into the Weisel hat here. I think he's going to be portraying the Weisel character from Real Soldier. If there is anybody that can be a showman when it comes to just their voice acting and just showcasing their talent, it definitely is Campbell Cooley. So I am expecting, a part of me is keeping my fingers crossed. I don't know anything. I don't have any insight more than you guys do. But based off of the fact of seeing Campbell in here, and we haven't seen him in the first half of the season, if I had to suggest as to who he could possibly be playing, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and say that he's going to be playing our version of Weisel from Real Soldier. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, though. No reveals have been given yet, but I do find it fascinating here from Simon Bennett himself that the last table read has officially occurred. And you could even see Hunter Deno says, where has the time gone, right? The idea of, maybe being on set. I believe Simon Bennett has said that the shooting so far of filming for both seasons together has accumulated about 8 months of their time, and they're still certainly going soon to certainly wrap up here, but about 8 months of filming when it comes to a Dino Fury when you're trying to tackle both seasons. So really great work, honestly, so far, Simon Bennett. I think he's done a remarkable job. I am eager to see, I'm eager to see how season 1 ends. We're not even close to season 2 as of yet, but the fact that they're that far ahead really shows me that New Zealand is doing a ton of great things in regards to just their COVID protection, right? The idea of them being able to just film seamlessly, getting a lot of stuff accomplished in a short amount of time. Pretty impressive to be able to overcome any obstacles that COVID certainly might have faced this year for them. But if there's anybody I feel bad for, it's definitely the cast that's going to have to unfortunately start wrapping up and head back home to boring America. I'm sure that, it's not boring. There's plenty of sights and beauty to certainly see out here, but I'm sure New Zealand has been an incredible experience for everybody out there. So Simon Bennett revealing the last table read to us, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for the wrapping of Dino Fury filming, unfortunately. And next up, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into another topic for you, and that is going to be a transition over to some Boom Studios talk. That's right, guys. Boom Studios has another Power Ranger issue that's set to go ahead and drop this upcoming week, guys. That's right. This upcoming Wednesday, we've got Power Rangers issue number 7. That's certainly headed our way. We actually have Power Rangers issue number 6 review and Mighty Morphin issue number 7 review that's going to drop this weekend for you guys also. Now, it is available. Both of those videos are available on our Patreon for our patron supporters that are part of our $1 a month tier. If you guys are interested, please go ahead and check out our Patreon. A link is in the description box below. So those 2 issue reviews will be dropped this weekend for you subscribers. But when it comes to Power Rangers issue number 7, we definitely have a lot to certainly get into. So let me go ahead and pull up these preview images for you guys. And while you guys look over some of those images, I'm going to go ahead and break down our exclusive first look and a synopsis. So this comes from us from Ranger Command Power Hour, letting us know Draken and the Omega Rangers on the run in Power Rangers issue number 7. Let's see here. It says the Omega Rangers and Draken are on the run in space, but they must find new allies if they want to defeat the Imperials. But that means trusting someone they're not sure is friend or foe if they are to save the universe. And then there's Draken. So that's referring to the fact that this synopsis is even talking about Draken in regards to having to trust someone that they're not sure is friend or foe. So it very much feels as though we're going to be either introduced to another brand new character here, and then having to maybe see if they can trust that person along with Draken. I mean, just looking at some of the preview pages though that we see here so far, the fact that Draken is like playing, I don't even know if that's basketball or what type of game they're playing, but the fact that their Omega Rangers are playing with Draken makes me scratch my head like, what the F is happening here right now? They definitely are maybe forming some sort of bond over these past couple of episodes and just some of the storylines that they've managed to get themselves into. I mean, granted, Draken has had to help them kind of get out of some tough spots, if you will, for this series so far. So maybe there is some trust slowly but surely kind of growing amongst one another. But if anything, it would not surprise me if there's still some hesitancy, because we definitely have seen some hesitancy, especially when it comes to Trini and Draken in this series so far. So based off of the fact that, yes, they are trying to find new allies to defeat the Imperials, we also had ourselves a great Imperial reference in just the most recent Mighty Morphin issue #7 comic book that will be dropping this weekend for you guys to further show that both of these series are very much interlinked and intertwined. And we definitely have ourselves a storyline, possibly a crossover at some particular point in time headed our way when it comes to our Power Rangers taking on the Imperials themselves. So again, the Omega Rangers and Draken are on the run in space, but they must find new allies if they want to defeat the Imperials. But that means trusting someone they're not sure to find as friend or foe if they have to save the universe. And then there's Draken. I'm trying to see if there is a Power Rangers issue #7 will be available May 19th. So this upcoming Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. So May 19th will be here before you know it. And again, guys, if you don't have a local comic book store by you, I would suggest going ahead and checking out Comixology.com. It is a great place for your digital comics. You can download them to your computer, your tablet, or your cell phone and read them digitally if you don't have a local comic book store near you. But if you do, support your local comic book store, guys, for sure. It definitely goes a long way. I've been really impressed with what Ryan Parrott has certainly given us so far. I feel like Power Rangers, that series, has definitely turned a couple of pages. Like, I feel like after episodes or issues 2 and 3, it really started getting its feet under it. And I've really been enjoying just the adventure that these Omega Rangers find themselves on, and a lot of tough questions that they have to ask themselves now that they're technically on the run and being wanted sort of by the galaxy, if you will. So a lot of interesting conversations and moments are definitely going to happen for our Omega Rangers as we continue along with it. But guys, I want to know your thoughts. If you've been reading the Boom Studios comic books from Power Rangers, what is certainly some of your thoughts? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that out of the way, we are going to transition over to some tokusatsu news for you guys today, specifically in regards to a story that has really crept up over the past couple of days. It really wasn't on my radar to certainly talk about it, but when you start realizing just the effect that it's going to have on pretty much the whole entire tokusatsu community here in the States, it definitely warrants talking about, as unfortunately for us guys, Toei strikes. That's right, guys. Toei strikes the fan sub community out there right now. This article actually comes from TV Nihon. They are having to deal with this situation, and there's also another one, Overtime Subs, that is dealing with this situation as well. Based off of the fact that, you know, around here for Toku Tuesdays, we love bringing you guys reviews for Zenkaiger along with Kamen Rider Saber, and even highlighting some past Super Sentai seasons as well. But it seems as though Toei said, not on our watch, ladies and gentlemen, as unfortunately Toei has reached out to some of these fan sub sites and are forcing them to go ahead and take down their episodes and probably shut down to a certain extent. So let's just go through this because both of these sites actually did go ahead and receive copyright notice of copyright infringement. So let's go ahead and just look at what this says briefly, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. But this is from TV Nahan's website. Why the torrents are gone for Sentai in Kamen Rider. Notice of copyright infringement. It says, we, Toei, are the exclusive owner of the copyright of Kamen Rider series, Super Sentai series, and we have discovered that our copyright is being infringed upon infringed through, and then it lists their website. Therefore, we serve upon you this notice on the subject as follows. And then they got to it says, by using this, your site is linking users to the following online locations of materials which infringe our copyright to the copyrighted material, talking about all their Super Sentai series and Kamen Rider stuff as well. We certify that the information contained in this notice is accurate and under penalty of perjury. Since they own the copyright. Based on the foregoing, we hereby request that you immediately remove or disable all access to all links and embedded materials set forth on item 1, and then just all that other good stuff, legal mumbo jumbo, if you will. So yeah, Toei strikes, guys, and this is a bit of a bummer. Now, mind you, just so people know, Toei has every right to do this. It is their product. It is their property. What I will say, though, is that, and I said this over on Twitter, it still just boggles my mind, though, that, when you have people watching your stuff, that you sort of do your best to not make it available to people. I feel like I also read something from somebody on Twitter who was saying, let's not for a minute think that Toei is now just discovering these things. You know what I mean? That they've been doing this stuff for how many years now? I'm pretty sure that Toei has been fully made aware already of TV Nihon and Overtime Subs sort of pushing their work, if you will. I'm definitely not under the impression that Toei just discovered it all of a sudden. I think if anything, you probably know when your stuff is being ripped off. You know what I mean? I think these people are fully aware of that. It does strike me as peculiar, though, as to why now, though. I am curious if Toei has plans for Super Sentai or Kamen Rider in other forms or another. One of the things that has jumped out to me about Toei is that there really is a push for some of their tokusatsu stuff to be seen more here in the States. And what I mean by that is when you look at something like Ultraman, right? Ultraman is being pushed here in the States a little bit, simulcasting Ultraman Z, if I'm not mistaken. We've got a Marvel series that's doing Ultraman comic books as of right now as well. So, you look at Kamen Rider, while they're not full seasons, I don't believe. I mean, maybe there are, they are reaching out to, was it Tokushoutsu, I believe, on Pluto TV, some streaming service. I think maybe, can't remember, even maybe their YouTube page also might drop a couple episodes here or there. So I do feel as though Toei has taken some steps in at least branching out their tokusatsu stuff to us here in the States, but it's been minuscule compared to just what TV Nihon and Overtime Subs have given us full access to in regards to becoming fans of these tokusatsu series. So it scratches my head at the idea that you're ripping this away from a big source of your fan base. I don't know if it's a pride thing that they want to keep their stuff just for their own country and for their own culture and don't want us Americans to dabble in it at all. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, or if it's the idea of, maybe they have a better way of hopefully financially making money off of this. I think Toei is in a perfect position right now to where you have a fan base, not only in your own country, but also here in the States that would be more than willing to pay for your content if you provided it. The idea of dropping one episode in English or two episodes with English subtitles is not going to be enough for us fans. And so I feel like the idea of not wanting eyes on your product, if that's the case, then at least financially benefit from it on your part. Like if Toei doesn't release something, whether that be their own streaming service or start streaming this stuff simulcast to their YouTube page or even to Tokusatsu. I mean, maybe we have an announcement that's coming that we're unaware of. If you're not going to financially allow yourself to monetize views and bring income in for yourself, like if that's not the reason that you're doing this, then I feel like Toei's really shortchanging themselves at the end of the day. That's less money, less eyes on your product, less people talking about it, and you just keeping your own product within your own bubble. I think if anything, right now is that perfect opportunity to start making some of these IPs international. Letting more people view your stuff. And if people are willing to pay, I'll be willing to pay like $5 to $7 maybe a month for a tokusatsu streaming service, or Toei streaming service that has some of their content on there. So again, it almost reminds me of like the idea of Power Rangers removing their stuff from Netflix. Like, what good is it going to do removing it and not putting it someplace, right? Like, it's great that it's going to YouTube, but you're trickling this shit out like one episode at a time, one episode at a week, as a week. So I am hoping that there is another game plan here. If you're just pulling it and you're not going to make it financially available to you guys or for us to pay for, I don't understand the purpose of doing this, because if anything, it just feels to me that you just don't want people to watch your product. And if that's the case, I would be interested to see, like, if it's not going to go up anywhere, will the ratings continue to suffer? Will Super Sentai continue to suffer from this, right? Will they start seeing a decline in interest for their properties and things like that? So I don't know. To me, this doesn't feel like a good move, unless you have another plan. And we haven't heard anything as of yet, but it's a little bit of a bummer. Like, for me, this is, watching Super Sentai has allowed me to have an appreciation for the art that the Japanese culture certainly does when it comes to their filmmaking, because make no mistake, it is an art form. Filming and directing all take talent. And to be able to watch something like Super Sentai elevated my interest in Power Rangers again, but also elevated my interest in wanting to learn about this culture even more, wanting to go back and watch past Super Sentai series to go and see how this show has elevated itself over time. It's my series of choice, honestly, probably maybe over Power Rangers as of late, it feels like. I mean, during that whole Neo Saban era, it's like, can I get some Super Sentai, please? So for me, it does feel very much like they're just shooting themselves in the foot, and they don't really understand just how impactful series like Kamen Rider and Sentai certainly is here to people in the States. Toei was actually trending yesterday over on Twitter because of the fact that everybody was talking about this so much, in the sense of just being really upset about its decision. Again, Toei, you have every right to remove your content, because yes, it is illegal. But when you're not giving people a legal out, a legal way to financially support your content, I don't know what you expect us to do, unless you want to keep it inside of just your culture and inside your own little bubble. But at that point, it's just thinking to myself, then what's the point? Why? Why not expand your own IP internationally and make it available to people that actually want to watch your product? Because then it not only brings eyes to Super Sentai, but it might bring eyes to Ultraman. It might bring eyes to your Kamen Rider and whatever else other sort of products or projects you're certainly working on. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going to happen around here. I will say this. I might have my own resources. I might have a resource and still being able to watch this stuff, but there's no way I'm gonna tell anybody though. Like, there's no way I'm gonna put this shit out there for everybody to start watching or find the spot, just because of the fact that it's like, I don't want that to happen to other sites either in the future. But so again, while this does hurt, there is a part of me that's really hoping that Toei has a plan, that they are either going to do a streaming service, simulcast it on their YouTube channel, maybe simulcast somewhere over on Tokushoutsu, just someplace where we can financially support you and your content, if that's the route that you want to go. If you don't want us watching it free because it's illegal, then let us watch it for a price that I think a lot of us certainly would be willing to go ahead and pay for it. Let me ask you guys, if Toei were to go ahead and actually release a streaming service, I know we've got a ton of streaming services out there in the world already. How much would you be willing to pay for a Toei streaming service? I would be interested. Again, my range would be $5 to $7. I probably wouldn't do anything more than that. Once we start getting into the double digits, then you kind of lost me for that. But I honestly feel like you've got a plethora of people of tokusatsu that would certainly dabble into a streaming service. I mean, heck, James Gunn, incredible director, famous director from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad. He's a huge Ultraman fan, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen him take pictures with Ultraman, people dressed up in Ultraman cosplay, or maybe it's Kamen Rider. I can't remember, but he's a big fan of tokusatsu. So you've even got big American directors that absolutely love your stuff, and you're even yanking that kind of content from them as well. Like, I don't think that's a great move. I understand it. I understand the move, but don't make this move unless you absolutely have another form for us to go ahead and watch it. Because if you don't, and you're just pulling it away, I'm sorry, Toei, it makes you look like a bunch of dicks. It's rather dickish of you, man. Because I just don't understand the idea of not wanting to make money off of your property and bring eyes to your content. Because I just feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, guys. What do you think is going to happen? Are you guys going to continue to support Toei? Do you think they're going to come out with a streaming service or make it easily accessible somewhere for those in the States? My only worry is that they do start making it accessible, but it's like, here's the first 2 episodes of Kara Major. Good luck, dabble in that, and that's it. First 2 episodes of Zenkaiger, and that's it. It's little things like that I think are probably some of my fears that we'll wind up getting. But I do think that Toei needs to be smarter about how they're going to be tackling their international base of fans, because Toei, you do have international fans that you're not supporting and that you're not helping out in any way whatsoever. So help a brother out, help some fans out here, man. I mean, thank you very much for the stuff you have done with Tokushoutsu and things like that, and on your own channel from time to time. But we want series. We want to be able to keep up with what you guys are doing there in Japan. So please pull that trigger and allow us here in the States to legally and financially support you guys. So we'll see what happens there, guys. But listen, at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about all this hoopla that's certainly going around? How has watching Super Sentai or Kamen Rider or any tokusatsu helped you out in maybe some of your hard times? I definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts. All right, guys. And I'll go ahead and get into your guys' comments here in a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can pull that up. Zachary, Toei better start pushing Toku here for purchase. People who do people who do sub the shows are Japanese, obviously, or no Japanese. Yeah, probably either or. Will Kiss Asian be affected? Probably. It just depends. Like, I don't know who subbed these in English. You know what I mean? I feel like each of those sites overtime subbed along with TV Nihon. I think that they probably subbed it themselves, and then Kiss Asian used probably their content for their channel. So probably will be affected. Yusai says he thinks somebody narked on overtime and TV Nihon. There's a traitor among us. I mean, possibly. I mean, I still think that I think that Toei knew already, but I think the idea of somebody narking probably made them pull the trigger. But I feel like they probably know. Enrique, what's up, Enrique? Shout out to you for joining us. When will all the Sentai Rider series links come back to me? Never, Enrique. Unfortunately, it's done for good. Toei is not allowing them to utilize that at all. So we'll see, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll see if anything changes, though, in regards to that. I'm Handsome Dude says, I think Saban is the mastermind for telling Toei about the English subs and for making Hasbro remove older seasons Power Rangers from Netflix. Saban strikes again. Go be a penny pincher somewhere else, Saban. Damn. AJ says, I guess if Hasbro continues to use Sentai footage next year, Simon Bennett might have a hard time watching the footage unless Toei gives them permission or sends them subbed episodes. That's a good question, man. That's a good question, right? Because Simon Bennett mentioned the idea with that when it came to Rio Soldier, they watched the Rio Soldier as it aired. So I'm assuming they watched it like episode, week by week to go ahead and start taking their notes down as to how they might go about adapting episodes and things like that. Like, how did Simon Bennett watch his episodes, right? I'm pretty sure his stuff that he might have watched, I don't know if that stuff was official. Does anybody in Simon Bennett's camp speak Japanese that has to translate that for him, or did they have it already translated in English subs? Right now, you're even taking that away from the people that got to adapt your own work, sort of thing. So maybe is this another sign that's maybe Toei's butt hurt. Maybe they're upset that Hasbro is doing their own thing with Power Rangers going forward. And they're like, you know what? If you don't want to use our footage in the future, you're not going to get anything. And they just rip it from the US. Who knows? I have no idea. But that's a good question, AJ. I don't know if that would affect future possible seasons. Frankie says he would suggest $8. $8, not bad. I like I said, 5 to 7, maybe 8. Ram Jam says he'll be willing to pay $6.99 a month. Toei, I hope you're watching and taking some of these down. We got $7 willing, Blossom willing to pay 7, Frank willing to pay 8. Datilla says, I wouldn't mind paying for a streaming service. I'm paying for Peacock for WWE content, and I'm paying for Impact Plus, and I'm also paying for Netflix. Impact Plus? Impact has their own streaming service? I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me. They've been around since like 2001, so they definitely have a library for it. Isaiah, what's up, Isaiah? Appreciate you coming through today, man. Thank you very much for certainly joining us. We got Byron in the house. Also, thank you very much, Byron, for certainly coming through. Blossom says, it's official. I'm sad that I won't see Saber again, huh? I mean, unless you guys can find another source or another website for yourself. I feel like the two big powerful ones in TV Nihon and Overtime, unfortunately, are gone. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Blossom even says she's even willing to pay $10 at that point. That might be a little bit too much for me. He says, then again, she says, I'll pay anything. So, okay. So Blossom willing to give up her wallet for that. Zachary does say, I'll pay for a streaming service. I didn't finish Kira Major, have yet to begin Zenkaiger, plus want other stuff like Jack and Go Ranger. Yeah, I mean, like, for instance, right? Like, I'm reviewing Go Ranger right now. I'm doing reaction videos for Go Ranger as part of our Patreon. Our patrons are paying $5 tier for our Go Kaiger early access and our Go Ranger stuff. And the next one I was going to go ahead and tackle after Go Ranger was going to be Jack. So that is something that I definitely have been wanting to explore further. And now they're just ripping that stuff away from me. So it's away from us, I should say. It's a bit of a bummer. AJ says, I'd rather watch free for Sentai. I mean, listen, I think we all would prefer to watch for free, but if it's not going to be an option, you know what I mean? Like, I rather it's I'd rather it be an option. Yeah, AJ even says, you know, Zenkaiger getting so good, though. This blows, man. I want to see Stay Caesar and Two Kaiser. You want to see him switch sides. If you guys did miss it, we did go ahead and put out a little bit of a theory and speculation video for you guys in regards to Stay Caesar and Two Kaiser on our videos on our channel. But we'll see, guys. We'll see if we get the chance to continue along with these series. If we do, I'm probably not going to be able to give out my information in regards to where I got to see some of these episodes if we do continue with the reviews. But we'll see what happens comes this week. If you guys know anything, though, hit me up in the DMs, all right? Hit me up in the DMs. All right, guys. With that out of the way, we got two more topics we're going to go ahead and round off this episode with for you guys. And one of them is in regards to an upcoming Ultraman series. I mean, damn, like just thinking about this, like I was so pumped for Ultraman Trigger, and now you're going to tell me I may not even be able to watch this damn series? Like, they really just cut out. Like, Toei is just no fun. Like, Toei literally striked my channel previously when we were APlus Opinions, even though I followed everything according to whatever YouTube needed me to in order to play certain clips. Like, Toei attacked me, and Toei's now getting fan subs left and right, man. It's unbelievable. But the next topic I did want to talk about is the fact Ultraman Trigger. We do have some casting news in regards to this upcoming Ultraman series. I believe it drops in July, if I'm not mistaken. As we've got Meku Harukawa. I think I nailed that. Harukawa cast in Ultraman Trigger. Let's see exactly who this character is so we can get some more details in regards to how they're going to impact this upcoming season of Ultraman Trigger. This is from Tokusatsu Network, a great website for you guys to check out. It says... Subaraya released new casting information for Ultraman Trigger yesterday, along with images of the new mech. Guts Falcon is the name. It says Harukawa will play Hamari Nanasi, the operations specialist who pilots the combat mech Guts Falcon. Harukawa previously played Hiyori in Ultraman Ginga S. Here's the Guts Falcon. It looks like multi-purpose unmanned convertible Droder Guts Falcon. That's actually a pretty cool looking mecha, honestly. It says the Guts Falcon is a combat mech kept in the mothership of Guts Select, the Nurse DC. Okay, whatever. Hamari, who holds the title of Falcon Specialist, pilots it remotely. It says it is a convertible mech with two forms: flight mode as its standard aircraft form, and the hyper mode for combat against monsters low in the air or in land. I feel very like Macross vibes when I think about those two forms there. This is in fact the character Hamari Nanasi. Loving those glasses. I actually love her costume, honestly, in general, man. She's looking great. Calm and collected, she is a woman of few words. When she controls the Guts Falcon, however, her passionate fire is revealed. I kind of dig that idea. Somebody that's pretty reserved, but when it comes to battle, they really just open up. I'm excited about that. She says, below is Harukawa's comments from Subaraya. So this is the actress talking about it. It says, Ginga S taught me the most fundamental point of filming, that camera mustn't stop just for you. 7 years since then, moving from underground to the control room, I've come back to the world of Ultraman. I play Hamari Nanasi, the operator of the Gult's Falcon. From the rather unique position of the controller chair, I will have a very, very exciting challenge ahead of me. I have no doubt whatsoever that this will be an exciting story which will develop its characters and monsters. That's fascinating, to show not only the coolness of its heroes, but also highlight the tenderness and the charm of its characters also. I will do my best to get on board both the Falcon and also on board with fans' hopes for this series. And so that actually comes to us from the actress herself, in Miku Harakawa, who will be playing the character in Hamari Nanasi. So loved everything that she says. If the fact alone that she points out that it's going to be great character development, not only for our heroes, but for our monsters also, really excite me, because of the fact that I love a story that doesn't mind tackling their villains, giving them maybe either some humanity or moments for us as fans to be able to relate to them and kind of see what their motivations certainly are. So I'm really eager to see what they do with Ultraman Trigger at the end of the day. But the fact that she's going to be working in the control room, remote controlling this brand new mecha, I'm eager to see what they have in store for us. So bring it on, guys, bring it on. But I'm just as thrilled. Is there a release date? I just want to see if they posted. No, they didn't post a release date for that as of yet, but I believe it is in July. I think we've talked about it in previous episodes also. So if you guys want to go ahead and maybe check some of our past episodes, you're certainly more than welcome to if you need to find a release date for Ultraman Trigger. But it will be here before we know it. But speaking of Ultraman, that's not our only Ultraman topic that we have for you guys today. We have another big announcement from Ultraman that just dropped earlier this week, and that is the fact that we're going to be getting ourselves an Ultraman animated feature film that's going to be coming to us from Netflix. Variety.com actually went ahead and broke this news. This is an exclusive report from Variety themselves, letting us know that Netflix is developing an Ultraman animated feature that will have itself an all-new story. We did do ourselves a separate video for this earlier in the week, if you'd like to go ahead and check it out for yourselves. But they went ahead and also released concept art for this upcoming animated feature. Now, it certainly will be kind of CG. I think it's going to be a mixture of CG and anime. It's not going to be like that hardcore CGI that we've seen from maybe the previous Netflix Ultraman animated series that they currently have on there, which I would certainly recommend. But this is some of the concept art that they're going to be working with. And the article itself actually refers to the fact that they are going to be working with ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, another great sort of company that loves to push not only its technology, but animation as well when it comes to creating content for TV or movies. So Subaraya Productions, along with ILM, are teaming up for this Netflix animated feature film. I am curious if they're going to ink a deal for more. Like, I'm wondering if this is going to be part of a trilogy or if this is just going to be a one-off, to see if anything else certainly comes from it. But let me go ahead and bring this up, guys. Again, there is already an Ultraman series on Netflix, but again, this is going to be a feature film. So let me pull this up here. It says, while the character has a loyal following outside of Japan, Ultraman has never become a massive crossover phenomenon at the scale of Godzilla or Pokemon, but Netflix is hoping to change that. It says the streamer is partnering with Subaraya Productions to develop Ultraman as a CG animated feature film aimed at bringing a new, wider audience to the beloved silver-suited character. Shannon Tyndall, an animator who's worked on Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, will make his directorial debut with this project from a script that he wrote along with the Kubo screenwriter and Mark Himes. He's also going to be directing, but they also have John Aoshima from DuckTales and Gravity Falls that's going to be co-directing along with him. So Shannon Tyndall, the fact that this person is an animator, that's making that their directorial debut, I think for me really stands out for two reasons. When I think of this, I think of Travis Knight from Transformers. Travis Knight was mostly, I believe, an animator. He worked in a ton of clay animation, stop motion animation, and things like that. And I believe for Travis Knight, I want to say Bumblebee might have been his directorial debut. I could be wrong in regards to that. But one of the things that I loved about what Travis Knight was capable of doing is, as an animator, visually, exactly what it is that you want to see. When you tell me that Shannon Tyndall, who did things like Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, both brilliant movies, honestly, really enjoyable ones. And so if you've worked on something like that, visually, exactly what you're looking for. And now you take those same traits and move them over to a directorial debut. I'm all in here. Now, granted, this is animated, so I'm not as worried about a directorial debut as I would probably for, say, like live action purposes. But the fact that we're getting somebody that visually knows what they want to see, can probably now put it in front of the camera as a director. You've got the same person from Kubo as a screenwriter in here as well. I think the storyline is going to be there. And I do think some of the amazing sort of shots and scenes and everything that you're looking for when it comes to an Ultraman movie or series is definitely going to be there as well. So there is no release date that's been yet. It says the Ultraman feature will strike out on its own with an all-new storyline designed to honor the past mythology while introducing the character to a new potential global fan base. Similarly, the animation from Industrial Light and Magic will be stylized, but not strictly anime, as that concept art that we just showed you will in fact demonstrate. So again, the animation is going to be done from Industrial Light and Magic, will be stylized, but not strictly anime. So a little bit of a stylized CG anime, it looks like we're going to be getting. It says the film will follow Ken Sato, a superstar baseball player who returns to Japan to become the latest hero to carry the mantle of Ultraman. His plans go awry, however, when he is compelled to raise a newborn kaiju monster, the offspring of his greatest enemy, as his own child. Sato will also have to contend with his relationship with his estranged father and the schemes of the kaiju defense force. So yeah, I'm eager to go ahead and see this brand new character and storyline that they dabble in, and I do think that good things are certainly ahead when it comes to Subaraya Productions and their Ultraman property. So bring it on, guys. I'm here for it. But listen, I want to know your thoughts. What do you guys think about the idea of an Ultraman animated film teaming up with Netflix? I feel like they've been pretty impressive in regards to some of their animated series that they've certainly have dished out for us when it comes to Netflix. So I definitely do think when you've got a great combination of director, writer, teaming up with an incredible company like ILM, I think this is definitely going to be something special, guys. So keep your eyes out for it. And again, if you haven't checked out the Ultraman Netflix animated series, there is one up there for you guys to certainly go ahead and do so. And I just continue to be impressed, honestly, at the end of the day, just about how Subaraya is pulling a trigger and allowing their IP to become more internationally known. I feel like Toei should probably take a cue from what they're doing here. So again, we've got Ultraman Marvel comic books and things like that. It feels very much like they're starting to trickle things over. I mean, Ultraman Z, I believe that was simulcast here in the States. So yeah, guys, get your fill of Ultraman before you can, because it's coming. There's no release date as of yet, but we'll definitely keep you guys up to date as more information winds up coming our way. But other than that, guys, that is in fact going to do it for all of our topics today. So I really appreciate you guys sticking through with us for all of our topics and our Dino Fury celebration that we wind up having here. Let's see here. I did want to... Byron says, I also had a story arc for you, Adam, in my Power Rangers concept season. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll check it out. All right, guys. Ram Jam, he says, I'm on board for the Ultraman animated movie. Good to hear, Ram Jam. AJ says, I just Googled it. Travis Knight indeed was the director of Bumblebee. Yeah, I know he is. I know he was a director. I just could not remember if that was his directorial debut for live action or not. Because usually when it comes to directorial debut, especially if it's live action, I am a little bit worried about it. But based off of the fact that this guy is dealing more in animation, something that he's clearly familiar with, it probably might work out to his benefit. So I'm not so worried about it when it comes to directorial debuts as part of animation goes. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump over to your live viewer questions. Remember, you can always submit your questions over anytime during the week if you'd like to. You can always go to us at aplusmorphinominal@gmail.com. You can submit them over throughout the week if you'd like to, and we'll always get to them. We do have quite a few questions, so we might be here a while, guys. So let's bear with us. Let's see here. I'm handsome, dude. Man, I feel like handsome. I feel like you want me to rank everything all the time. I'm gonna get back to you on this one, handsome. I might have to actually just do a ranking video. Rank your all-time weapons and battle armor of Power Rangers or Super Sentai. Yeah, that's gonna take me a minute. So I will get back to that one, handsome. What did you think when you found out that Japan did a short-lived Spider-Man show that later inspired Toei to only include Zords and Megazords to make Power Rangers and Super Sentai? I remember growing up as a kid, seeing a lot of these Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man movies on like VHS back in the day, renting them and things like that from the local video store. That's right, when we had VHS and VCRs back in the day, because I'm so damn old. But so I was aware of them before. I remember watching them a couple of times, maybe not too much. But I always thought it was pretty cool. I did watch the little Disney Plus feature that they wind up having in there about the idea of Marvel wanting to expand some of its properties, internationally, and some of the work that they put into putting Spider-Man together and really wanting to kind of make it a little bit different from its American counterpart, if you will. The idea of giving Spider-Man this gigantic mecha himself, I thought was just the most outlandish thing, but creative, I'm sure, back in the day. I mean, if that's what inspired Toei to start including Zords and Megazords, thank you, Spidey. Thank you, Marvel. I really appreciate that. Like for me, it's just interesting going back to 1975 to 77 of watching Super Sentai without Megazords. It's trippy. I mean, it's great to see just the action for the Super Sentai team itself and the focus on characters, but it is weird without the Megazords as of right now in something like a Go Ranger series. So I really enjoyed what we're seeing so far. But yeah, I found it rather interesting what Japan wind up doing with Spider-Man. He says, if Jason and Zach and Trini didn't leave the show, how did you think the Mighty Morphin would have been moving forward, especially to Zeo and Turbo? Do you think this would have made following seasons very different? Yes, very different. Very different. If anything, I could probably still see the changes coming in Turbo, but I think if anything, that cast sticks around probably through Zeo. I think maybe all through Zeo, maybe even into Turbo, and then eventually handing off the baton. I think this cast would have just gotten even more popular than ever, right? To the point to where, I mean, it's hard to say that they probably would even like the idea of them becoming even more popular than what they were is hard to imagine, just based off of like the heights of stardom that they were at, the recognition that people I feel like still have to them towards this day. Although like I think I'm trying to wonder, like if they were to walk down the block, David Yost, Walter Jones, Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, I wonder if they were to walk down the street if people would immediately recognize them. Like, I wonder if they have that type of recognizable face. You know what I mean? Everybody, I feel like, remembers Tommy for the most part, but like, I don't even the idea of them sticking around longer than just their tenure in Mighty Morphin. You know, I wonder if they would have had the same success as, say, Jason David Frank. You know, I wonder if JDF would even have the fan base or popularity that he has now. You know, the fact that he was like the longest running one that's stuck around, along with David, you know, like, that certainly earned him a huge fan base for sure. So I am kind of curious if people's popularity certainly would have changed for the better or the worse. But I do think, if anything, it probably would have become very different. But if anything, if I had to predict, I probably think Zeo would have probably had them, and then going into Turbo as well, and then the change probably comes. Jessica Fryman says, "Hey Adam, would you like to see a coinless Ranger Slayer TV series, and would you like to see a reboot of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight?" I don't need a no, don't give me a reboot. I'm cool with a reboot. If anything, maybe an animated sequel would be great. Similar to what Kamen Rider, was it W? Who was it? We just announced one that Kamen Rider was going to be having an animated sequel, that they were animating the manga that was a sequel to one of their seasons, and they were animating it. I would probably take an animated Kamen Rider Dragon Knight series as a sequel to what we got, but maybe not a reboot. As far as what I like to see, a coinless or a Ranger Slayer TV series, I would be open to it. I would definitely be open to it. You know, with it being over at Entertainment One right now, I think you could probably approach Hasbro, you know, if there are any writers out there that know how to send in their pitches. And I don't mean writing fans. I mean, if you're a legit writer for television and for movies, if you create scripts and you've got a writing agent, I would love for somebody to try and pitch Hasbro and Entertainment One a Ranger Slayer or a coinless TV series. I do think that would be rather fascinating. You know, I know Kyle Higgins once was developing a TV series for that. I don't believe he got the opportunity to pitch it, unfortunately. And I think I even suggested it once back when we heard that Michael Lombardo was being brought in from HBO to sort of be that person, you know, that looks over and greenlits the projects to be created for Hasbro's properties. And so I remember bringing it up like, man, this is a great time. Like, if Kyle Higgins, if he has that script and he wants it to be made, maybe he can, you know, send it over to Entertainment One and see if it'll get picked up. And he was like, you know, that ship has sailed, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a bummer. I mean, I don't think the ship has sailed. I feel like, if anything, people are still fans of Lord Draken and fans of the Coinless universe. I do think that there's something that you can mine from that. So Kyle Higgins says no go, but I would still like to see it. Power Rangers Legacy. He's got a couple questions. How would you feel if Saban chose the original unaired pilot for Mighty Morphin? Do you think Power Rangers wouldn't have taken off? No, I don't. Like, even watching it now, it's atrocious. Like, it's rough. I was not a fan of it. I'm very much a much bigger fan of what we actually ended up getting at the end of the day. So I'm glad Saban chose the one that he did. What did you think of some of the previous Super Sentai seasons that weren't yet to be adapted into Power Rangers, like Lupin Ranger versus Pat, Zoologer, and what stood out, especially when they appeared in crossovers? Zoologer, while I didn't finish Zoologer, I thought it was okay for what I was watching. I made it only to like the mid-teens. So like episodes 15, 16, maybe. I think I probably fell off at. Like, Zuo the World had just been introduced for a couple of episodes, right? Learning about his mind control and things like that from the enemies. Getting introduced to the Zuo world that they come from, the creatures and things like that. I love the costumes. I really enjoyed the suits. The characters were okay for me. I didn't stick around long enough to truly appreciate them or truly appreciate even their red. It's I want to say Yamamoto, but I could be absolutely wrong in regards to his name, as I remember seeing him in Super Sentai Strongest Battle. He was in there, and that was my first time really recognizing, like, wow, I actually kind of like Zuo Red's character. So Zuoja is definitely a series I wouldn't mind going back and checking out. One of the things that I always thought might have actually given it a great chance of being adapted was the fact of its it's mecha, it's Zord, its style, the fact that there feels to be very like Minecraft video game motif or theme that I think Saban or maybe even Hasbro could have easily have tapped in to make it recognizable, right? Like I feel like Minecraft, when it comes to little kids, they love that blocky shit for some reason. I think it probably could have really taken off, honestly, with how big Minecraft is here in the States, and to present a Power Ranger team that's similar or can attract those type of kids. Yeah, I think it could have done big here in the States, especially with the animal video game theme. Might have been nice, but we just had Beast Morphers, and that was kind of like a animal-ish kind of season, you know. Lupin versus Pat, I enjoyed the season. I had a fun time with the Phantom Rangers, the Phantom Thieves and the police officers. Kichiru and his hot-headed self was always hilarious to me. Loved Kyrie as well. Some fun elements for sure in that series. I wish the villains were utilized a little bit better, but like Zamigo always stood out to me. Solid season, one that I really enjoyed. Loved Lupin X and Pat Ren X, the design, and being able to switch out the one person being both the Rangers. Really cool concepts, I think, worked great. And for me, even an introduction to how you film fight sequences, I think is like when Lupin Pat is really the one that kind of opened up those doors for how a lot of the fight sequences now are being filmed with like this. I still say it's like a drone, but I could be absolutely wrong. Just the idea of the cameras going over and under and around the fighters and things like that as the fighters are flipping over. Like that's the first place that I had seen that sort of recordings, filming style for a fight sequence before for Super Sentai. So those are all the things that stood out to me, that really jumped out to me. So yeah, I didn't mind Zuoja. I needed to be invested a little bit more, but Lupin Pat is definitely a season that I enjoyed. What team up anniversary crossover of Power Rangers have you not seen, and that you have? What impact did it bring to both franchises? There's a bunch of Super Sentai ones that I have not seen. I'm sure I've seen all the Power Ranger crossovers. Some of them maybe just once, some of them maybe multiple times. What impact did it bring to both of the franchises? I mean, for me, I just feel like for me, there's probably two crossovers Power Ranger wise that really impacted me, or at least I felt maybe impacted the series, to a point to where now I almost don't even know if the impact is felt anymore, but I felt like it probably had a great impact at the time. Forever Red, clearly, just getting the opportunity to see all those amazing, I mean, you just go back and watch Forever Red and just look at the incredible cast of Red Rangers that we had during that time period. Just floors me that we were able to get all those people together in just one episode. The notoriety, the fame, the popularity of some of these characters were just off the charts, man. It was just absolutely incredible. And then was it To the 10th Power, I believe, from Lost Galaxy, where you see the Pink Ranger sacrifice herself to save the team. I mean, I'd never seen anything like that before in my life in Power Rangers. I didn't even think Power Rangers could die. Like, it definitely adds a sense of morality, sense of risk, that any one of these Rangers could be taken from you at any point in time. Unfortunately, that type of stuff is just not even dabbled in anymore. Unfortunately, it feels like. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer in that extent, but Yeah, those are some of the crossover and anniversary ones that really I think were super impactful for me at least. AJ's got a couple questions. What do you think of Hasbro's Fan First Friday? As I write this, I'm avoiding any reveals or surprises. I want to be clueless. Were the news exactly what we hoped for, like Dino Fury returning early, or Hasbro just stuffed like toys and other businesses? Sadly, just toys. Listen, I don't want to say that this was a letdown because, if anything, my own expectations made it a letdown for me. I thought they did a great job in regards to presentation, showcasing us new Lightning Collection pieces, giving us some great insight, revealing where we can get the exclusives and stuff from. So for what they meant to do, I thought they did a pretty good job. For what I was hoping they would do, terrible job. But again, I'm not going to hold my expectations on Hasbro. They'll reveal their stuff when they're ready. I feel like a lot of these announcements are very much summer announcements that they can still make. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed as to when that'll probably happen. But if a lesson I have learned is for these smaller Hasbro Pulse Fan First Fridays, maybe to lower my expectations. But when we have these bigger ones where they're highlighting Power Rangers and Transformers and G.I. Joes, those are the ones I could probably keep my fingers crossed for bigger reveals. So we'll see. For me, it didn't really do anything. I just had it on in the background and continued my work and just took down notes here or there. But if you're big into action figures and collecting stuff, this might have been right up your alley. What were your thoughts of Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder having Evil Rangers back to back? And did you expect them to be hardcore? I did not expect them to be hardcore, but I loved it. Do you think Stay Caesar and Zenkaiser gives you that old school vibe? Stay Caesar does a little bit. Yeah, Stay Caesar does. I feel like if anybody's going to turn to the light side, it probably is Stay Caesar. We gave our pitch as to why we certainly think so in our Stay Caesar and Two Kaiser. Could they switch alliances by the end of the season? In our theory and speculation video that we wind up doing, I do think that Stay Caesar could make an even. I want to see him do more evil stuff. We've had 2 episodes where he's really heavily relied on Super Sentai gears. He hasn't really fought too much on his own. So I really would like to see him with some game plans and him really making their life miserable before a potential switch, if you will. But I think his relation with Kaido in regards to them having similar, I don't want to say similar family backgrounds, but having family struggles, I think if anybody can maybe help Kaido see the light or see the goodness maybe that's in him, or why they should team up and maybe work together, I do think that it is in fact Kaido. So I am hoping that we do get ourselves a switch here. But I enjoy anytime that we get ourselves Evil Rangers. I don't care if it's back to back. I love me a good redemption story as long as the story is well told. And I think Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder both did that. Which past season of Power Rangers or Sentai do you think was really great, but had a decent to bad first episode? That's tough, man. A great Power Ranger or Super Sentai season, but had a decent or bad first episode. Damn, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm trying to think of really great seasons. And it's really hard for me. Like, sometimes I feel like those great seasons, like, I don't, oh, man. Like, for me, like, my struggle with this question is just the fact that, my favorite Power Ranger or Super Sentai season, like you guys may have other ones that you appreciate more than me, right? Like you guys may be big fans of Real Soldier, but I wasn't. Like that first episode for me, I just was not a fan of. So like my favorite Super Sentai and Power Ranger seasons are definitely going to differ for some people. So you guys might have some answers, but that's a tough one. I feel like a lot of the seasons that I've watched have really started off really strong, you know, kind of set the tone for the remainder of this season. Like, I guess for me, I wouldn't even put it up there as great, but you know, Zenkaiger maybe. You know, we haven't even finished it yet. 10 episodes in. I enjoy the series for what it is, but episode 1 was maybe just decent for me. I enjoyed it, but it was still decent. I wouldn't say it was bad though. That's a tough one, AJ. That's a tough one. I'm sorry, bro. Let's see here. We've got a ton of other questions too. Johnny Marrero. What's up, Johnny? He's got 2 questions. What did you think of yesterday's Fan First Friday? And what was your favorite? Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Fan First Friday. I'm much more a fan of the bigger scope ones, is what I've come to learn. Bring me Jackie Jennings any day as the host and just give me a big old Hasbro Pulse thing. I'll take it. So those are my favorites. Judging that it's Turbo Navigator Defender mode, I think we can get a lightning figure of one of the Turbo Rangers, or dare I say the Phantom Ranger. What do you think? Yeah, based off of the little tease that we wind up getting at the very end. Oh, dang it, I didn't put that in my... Damn it, I didn't put that in my clip for Lightning Collection stuff. They did tease us with the blaster from... a Turbo Navigator Defender mode. That's right. They did tease us with that at the very end. Didn't tell us who was coming, but they just had the blaster at the end. So I think everybody making that connection for the Phantom Ranger. So yeah, I think that would be a great Lightning Collection piece for sure. Ram Jam, he says, hey, Adam, how's it going? Just a couple of questions. Good to see your questions, Ram Jam. Thanks for coming through, man. With Dino Fury on hiatus, where do you see Dino Fury going next season? Oh, man. Probably pushing the envelope even more. Really, I really am expecting that. I'm hoping we get more revelation on who that woman is inside of Void Knight's contraption. I'm kind of hoping we get the opportunity to see him maybe get his shield. He hasn't rocked that as of yet. I am wondering if that's like a season 1 finale type of thing, or something we'll explore in season 2. Eager to definitely get the Gold Ranger come season 2 also. You know, one of the questions that I had after rewatching all of these episodes, that episode Lost Signal, right? We never technically got to understand what that signal or message was. So one of my questions is, what is that message received from episode 3? Will anybody respond to that particular message? And so a part of me is kind of curious as to see if that's going to be something that gets focused on a little bit more as we go through the series. And I'm continuing to see more original footage, probably, if anything, more special guests, if not full on crossovers or cameos, then maybe 1 or 2 cameos here or there I'd be perfectly cool with. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot of stuff for season 1. What are your thoughts on Toei putting a cease and desist on fan subs? I think it's a bit of a bummer, man. I think it's a bit of a bummer. I just hope that Toei has an alternate plan. Like, if you were just doing this just to stick it to the fans and not allow us to support your work, I think that's a dumb move. I think if anything, by us being able to see this stuff has just drawn more eyes to your product, more YouTube channels like myself and others to continue to boost about the incredible job that Toei continues to do for Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. But now they don't want us to talk about it, and like it doesn't make any sense to me. But I am hoping that if they did do this, that it's because of the fact that they have plans on financially making it available for us and for them. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see if Toei makes any comments in regards to it. AJ, let's see here. Oh, is this an update? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I actually didn't see the updated one. I saw the previous one first. I'm sorry. Doomsday, he's got 3 questions. What title do you think was way better than the others? Beast Morphers or the April Fool's joke Energy Chasers? I like Beast Morphers. I did like Beast Morphers. Why didn't you like Samurai as much besides the overuse of Sentai footage? I wasn't a fan of the acting and the performances. I thought a lot of it was rather dry, dry sense of humor, that type of stuff. It just didn't connect with me at all. Yeah, I just felt like first time. I don't recall who wrote or directed those series. I'd have to Wikipedia that stuff. It almost felt very much like first-time writers and directors, honestly. It just felt very amateurish, very amateur hour, if you will, when it comes to Samurai. So for me, what really just took me out of it was just the performances alone, and it was just bland and boring to me. Which Red Ninja Ranger was better? Takaharu, aka Aka Ninja, or Brody, the Ninja Steel Red Ranger? You know what? As much of a hater I am on Ninja, I will give Takaharu the nod here. I just wasn't a fan of Brody at all. I mean, I didn't mind him as a Ninja Steel Red Ranger, great and all, but I did like Takaharu a little bit more. Goofy for sure, but he definitely did have his moments. Great action and everything. Every time that I saw Takaharu, I had fun with him. I had fun with him. I do think that there are moments where he can be outwardly goofy, maybe too much at times, but he does have his great moments. Honestly, I even really enjoyed him in the Super Sentai Strongest Battle. So, out of the 2 ninjas, Takaharu here, if I had to choose. L'Oreal, what's up, L'Oreal? Blossom's got a couple questions for us. Of all the moments in Dino Fury, what was your favorite? All the moments, you know. I mean, I picked my favorite scene, which was the Nexus Prism. Outside of that, man, I already picked it as my best fight sequence, which is the episode 4. You know what? I'm going to give some love. I don't know if this is my favorite moment per se, but I do want to give some love to the Solon and Amelia moment from episode 6 and the superstition episode that they had. One, because of the fact that I felt like out of all the moments in this season, that's one of the ones that I can relate to the most. You know, I am a little bit superstitious, but I'm not to the levels of Amelia superstitious. You know what I mean? Like Black Cats, I'm like, watch out. Like, broke a glass mirror or something, like, damn it. You won't catch me walking under ladders at all, though. You know, stepping on the crack, break your mother's back, that type of thing. That's just no. Like, Amelia was legit into it, though, you know. But I just love the idea that it's all about your mindset, you know, and seeing Solon having to really help Amelia out in regards to refocusing herself and understanding that she shouldn't, you know, just take that stuff so seriously, if you will, because I feel like not only myself, but plenty of people in this world have said, I've got the worst luck in the world. You know what I mean? And some people really believe that, just kind of putting that negative energy out there. So when bad things do happen, that's what they blame it on, right? Instead of the negative energy that they're putting out in the world. So I do think a lot of it certainly is the mindset that you have towards things. And I just really love the idea of having a sentimental moment between a cybernetic dinosaur and a human. And I thought they pulled it off well. Bert Selling did a great job with the music attached to that scene, also really heightened it for me as well. So yeah, while I don't know if it's my favorite scene, because of the fact that we just literally did a best of, and I feel like I've picked out my favorite scene, the Solon and Amelia one was definitely up there and pretty close. Another one of my favorite moments is the Zato interviewing Izzy for that job, or for his article, you know, getting the opportunity to have her debut, see her attitude, see how she treats people. I those are some of my favorites. What's your favorite tokusatsu besides Power Rangers and Super Sentai? I mean, that's probably it. Those are the ones I really focus on, right? I don't really dabble too much in Kamen Rider or Ultraman. If anything, maybe Godzilla to a certain extent, you know. While I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, I do enjoy Godzilla movies and stories and things like that. So maybe Godzilla. Maybe Godzilla. What are your expectations for Dino Fury Season 2? Craziness. I'm expecting just all out fun, man. I'm really looking forward to some big things there. You know, for me, my biggest expectation is to see it on Netflix. Like, I really want to see how they're going to reveal these episodes. Are we going to get them in 2 parts, right? Are they going to drop all at once? I really want to see what the storytelling is going to be like at that point. So we'll see. Of all the Sentai's unadapted, which one would you like to see as Power Rangers? If Toei ain't touching it, my friend Will and I will give that Sentai a home. Probably Q Ranger. Probably Q Ranger would be the one that I would like to see adapted next. All right, and then last set of questions from Adam Perea. What's up, Adam? He says, what was your early thoughts when Real Soldier was first announced as Dino Fury, and how do you feel right now about the show so far? And did you already know we would get our first female Green Ranger? So no, at the time when it was announced, no, I did not know that we were going to get our first female Green Ranger at all until we actually wind up getting casting announcements. I remember my early thoughts of Real Soldier being announced as I was a little bit, my first initial reaction was bummer. And it was just that reaction, just based off of the idea that dinosaurs again, like we just had Dino Charge just a couple seasons ago, you know, previous to this. So it felt like we were just treading water, right? Like that was my only downside to when the announcement was made. But when you take a step back, like after maybe a day or two of just sitting on that and just thinking about it, I think when we talked about it in a video for APlus Morphinominal, one of the things that I immediately got excited about was, while I wasn't a fan of Real Soldier, I was pumped at the idea that the Zord battles and the action were stellar in that season, despite the lackluster storytelling that they wind up having. So when it comes to adaptions, I actually got pretty excited for the sense of those being adapted and seeing Hasbro tackle their own storylines. You know, I believe we might have already been getting some of Beast Morphers. And I always try to do my best to keep my expectations low, yet excited for the future, because I remember watching Beast Morphers and I kept thinking to myself, if this is what they're going to give us for Beast Morphers, but maybe push the envelope a little bit more for Dino Fury, I think we might have something on our hands. So outside of the, you know, the initial bummer aspect of another Dino season, outside of that, I felt like I was pretty positive in regards to what we could expect. And I'm really glad to see that it kind of ended up living up to my expectations that I was hoping that they would give us, especially seeing as how after Beast Morphers wind up wrapping up. But initially, bummed at the news, but maybe after a day or two, you come around to realizing that maybe Hasbro does have something really good under their hands. What previous Sentai series you've watched already? Hold on. What previous Sentai series you've watched have already been honored or used elements in Power Rangers as of recent or previously? I don't really know what you're referring to. What previous Super Sentai season you've watched have already been honored or used used elements what previous Sentai series you've watched have already been honored or used elements in Power Rangers as of recent or previous? I don't really know what you're referring to in that question, Adam. I apologize. Maybe you can clarify it, or maybe somebody in the comments can clarify it for me. I've never really known Super Sentai to use really any elements from Power Rangers so much. I've always seen it the other way around. So I don't know, Adam. I might have to skip that question for now. Sorry about that, bro. What do you think makes Power Rangers so good right now? And do you think that if Simon Bennett, who is the showrunner, wasn't in charge, the season wouldn't be as good as it is right now, especially with Simon, who is an actual TV and film director and producer? Does that make Dino Fury feel like an actual TV show for all ages? Right now, I think this show is doing a little bit of everything right. I think they've adapted Sentai footage really smartly, especially when it comes to the Izzy and the Green Ranger stuff. I think they've allowed us to, I think they've brought in an amazing cast that have helped even heighten these characters. So very relatable characters, if you will. You can tell that they are at least taking their handcuffs off of their creative writing team. So they've really branched out. So it doesn't feel so kiddish. It feels more like a show for all ages, whereas compared to the past, it felt very just for kids. But I feel like they've learned a lot from Beast Morphers also. And the idea that you can take elements of past past Power Rangers seasons and include them into this show, and yet still allow this show to be something of its own, and I think that's another thing that's made Dino Fury successful as well, that we have been getting those Easter eggs and those moments that throw back to past Super Sentai or Super Power Ranger seasons for us older fans, if you will. So I love the connections that it's making. The writers definitely have their creative handcuffs off, and I think they're just doing some stellar work. I mean, the wire work, bringing in the stunt coordinator from the past to help out in regards to a lot of what they're doing, having amazing second unit directors to work alongside everybody and just show everybody in their best form, if you will. I think they've just done a really great job. And especially, I haven't felt like every episode has been like a lesson of the day either, right? They've cut out majority of the fart jokes. While the physical comedy is still there, I don't think it's as overboard as it was previously. So they definitely have felt like they've listened to some of the complaints and have made corrections where they can. And even if it is aspects of the show that might be too kiddie, that I think maybe some fans might complain about, I think they've done those moments in great fashion to make it feel like it's not just for kids. You know what I mean? So I think they've done a great job. If there was somebody else on board, I don't know who it would have been. Chip Lynn, maybe. I think the idea, though, of Hasbro being in charge now, I think has a lot to do with it in regards to them bringing somebody in like a Simon Bennett. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, Simon Bennett was working with Chip Lynn. I don't know if he was on board there for Ninja Steel or if that was his first time. I think that might have been his first time dabbling in Power Rangers was Beast Morphers. So I don't know. I don't know if Hasbro is the one that brought him in or not. But do I think the season would be as good? Probably not. But who knows? I guess it would just depend on who the showrunner would be, right? If it's somebody that's very familiar with Power Rangers, then probably could be better. But I think Simon Bennett has done a remarkable job. You can really see just the idea of his experience in TV and film certainly paying dividends for sure. I don't know if Dino Fury feels like an actual TV show. When I think of TV shows, I think of like nationally syndicated shows, like shows that are on CBS, Fox, CW, that's got bigger budgets. So while it is a live action show, it's definitely not on par as far as those other shows that have that type of budget. But I definitely get what you're saying there. All right, guys. I think other than that, I think that's going to do it for all of our questions today. I believe I've gotten everybody for the most part. Let me go ahead and jump into some of your guys's live comments though. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Datilla, Adam, are those figures in the back? Which ones do you have? So yes, so let me go ahead and grab those real quick. So while I wasn't the biggest fan of Real Soldier, my brother does live in Japan. And if I'm lucky, I might be able to get him to send me some figures. These are vinyl figures from Real Soldier that my brother wound up getting me a couple of years back. These are vinyl figures here. You get to see one of my favorite characters in Bomba. What the fuck? Bomba. You get to see Kanalo here in our gold. And then this one, which will hopefully be hitting US soon, Max Real Soul Red, the power up for Real Soul Red. It's gorgeous. But yeah, the 3 vinyl characters. In the back, that's the Dragon Ultra Thunder Zord, I believe. With a big ass head that swivels, which I absolutely love. Let me grab him. Yeah, my friend Mike got me this. I had been looking for this thing for years and was unable to find it. But Mike did a brilliant job. The head swivels. This thing is massive. I don't remember how much this cost. Maybe $60, maybe even more than that. But yeah, I mean, you get to see this. I mean, this thing is literally the size of my head, which, you know, I love it. I love it. Titanus has always been one of my favorites. I've always loved this. He's got like the chain and stuff as he holds him. I think it's a great Zord. But I'll eventually put more. Out there. I'm planning on painting this wall back here and doing some decorating, putting up some shelves and things like that as well. So. Let's see. Adam says, sorry, Adam. I mean, like, what stuff in the past seasons of Power Rangers, even now, took elements or something that only happens in Super Sentai, like all original weapons that weren't in Sentai, or being able to use Sentai footage for Tessa while not overusing Sentai. Well, I will say, like, for Power Rangers, at least, the Dino dagger that we got the opportunity to see very early on in Dino Fury, just episode 1, we haven't seen that pop up at all. So that's pretty unique in regards to his own right. Stuff in the past seasons of Power Rangers, even now, that took elements or something that only happened in Super Sentai, like all original weapons that weren't in the Sentai. Yeah, the only thing I can think of right now, top of my head, for in regards to that, yeah, probably something along the lines of the Dino dagger. That's the one that immediately, at least as far as like the newer seasons of Power Rangers, yeah, that's one that definitely jumps out to me. AJ says, this past week was the 2nd year anniversary of Pua's passing. Would you like to do a small tribute to him, like an episode of Ninja Storm? Oh, damn, has it been 2 years already? God, I tell you, man, time just flies these days. I really, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. Adam asks, who do you guys think Void Knight is under the armor, or any guesses? Any extra characters we've seen who wears purple? Who do I think Void Knight is? I I don't know. There's a part of me that doesn't think that he's from this Earth, but a part of me sometimes thinks that he is. I don't think he's from Ravcon. I don't think he's somebody that Zato knows. You know, rewatching it again, the idea that Zato references the idea that you stole that armor. He mentions the idea that it's mine now. I mean, he seems knowledgeable about past Dino Fury Rangers, or at least their Zords. I do think it's probably somebody that we know, but I just don't know who. I do think it is somebody that we know, but I just don't know who. Izzy says, dang, Toei be hating. Yeah, they do, man. They do. They're very, very protective of their stuff. Very protective of their stuff. Isaiah, what do you think of Dino? I'm assuming you meant Dino Fury coming back to the US. Do you think it would come back in early August or late September? When do we usually get it? Like, I want to say we usually get it in September, don't we? Or something like that. I don't think it'll come back early, but I could be wrong. Alexis says Real Soldier sucks, and then followed up with and Dino Fury sucks. Well, I'm sorry, Alexis. I'm sorry you were not a fan of the series so far. I'm kind of curious if you think they suck. What are some of your favorites that you do enjoy? I would be really interested to learn more about that. AJ says maybe Jane is Void Knight. Nah, I don't know. Marcelino, what's up, Marcelino? I think Void Knight is Saban. That way, the Rangers can kill Saban for the Neo Saban era, or he's just a penis head monster. yeah. I don't know if it's Saban or not, but yeah, that's pretty funny, Marcelino. Sorry, guys. I got the damn dogs barking in the background there. I think the girlfriend went out to go ahead and show a home. So she's probably just returning now. So the dogs go ape shit around here, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's see here. All right, guys. I think other than that, I think that might actually do it for us. I'm just kind of scanning some of your guys' comments here. All right, yeah, I think that's probably going to go ahead and do it for us here. Alexis does say that they're definitely enjoying other Sentai. Well, I'm glad that you certainly are. Definitely continue up with Sentai. Hopefully, you guys do also, even though we're not going to have a lot of tokusatsu around here, honestly, for the next for a while. Oh, that kind of sucks, but we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Come Tuesday, we'll see if we've got some reviews for you guys, I guess, to certainly talk about going forward. But listen, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode. So thank you very much for certainly joining us as always. We will be back next Saturday, as always, live noon Central Time for you guys here to certainly join us for another discussion and talking about all the news that drops in regards to Ranger Nation and Tokusatsu as well, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, if you guys love our content here, if you had a fun time, enjoyed our video, hit that like button. That big thumbs up certainly does go a long way. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you certainly can. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with that bell notification so that when we do drop brand new videos, you will certainly be notified. If you also want to go ahead and support the channel in other ways monetarily, we do in fact have ourselves a Patreon page, patreon.com/AplusOpinions. We have early access and exclusive content on our Patreon account for you guys. Not only do you get access to it for our A+ Morphinominal Power Rangers YouTube page, but you also get the content from A+ Hero Report if you're a big fan of Marvel, DC movies and television. We got a ton of stuff for you guys there. You can go ahead and check it out from tiers from $1 a month to $5 a month to $10 a month, whatever else you guys can certainly help out. Definitely go ahead and join us. We do audio versions of all of our shows. We have access to our Discord community once you join and become a member of our Patreon. But definitely go ahead and show support for the channel if you can. If for some reason, if you can't help us out that way, you can definitely go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. And of course, leave comments. It definitely does go a long way, guys. But other than that, if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so right here at APlus Opinions. Very active over on Twitter, as well as our main page, which is our Facebook page. And you can also catch us over on Instagram, as well as Twitch for you gamers as well. But until next time, guys, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until next time, keep it A+. I'll talk to you later. Bye.